Start things off this morning as we await not only more bank earnings, we'll get through those coming up this morning, more inflation-related data coming up at 8:30 this morning. We'll talk about PPI, the producer side of the scale, after we got consumer prices yesterday. If you missed that, basically in line with expectations right across the board. Markets seem to shrug that off a little bit. As I said, more bank earnings to deal with this morning. We have more China-related headlines coming out. It was actually late in the day yesterday. Surrounding Nvidia. We'll touch on that coming up. Nvidia back downside a little bit here this morning. And we could potentially get this Supreme Court ruling on these tariffs coming up this morning at 10 o'clock. Remember, we thought it was going to be Friday. They came out and said not going to be Friday, but potentially Wednesday. So here we are. Maybe not. We'll see whether or not the market will react to this. I think is another question altogether.
Oh yeah, if we get what the administration would consider an unfavorable ruling, we're going to see a market reaction pretty quick. It's going to have a lot of pressure on the Treasury. They've already made it very clear that I don't think they've got the cash currently to be able to pay back a lot of that. But President Trump has made it very clear he's going to come at this another way. So we'll have to see exactly how that goes. But Brendo did mention China is certainly in focus. Multiple stories out of that country. The first one, obviously, the H200, Chinese regulator telling customs do not allow the H200 into the country. That's already after a meeting with tech companies yesterday. Basically tell them don't buy it unless in very limited circumstances. So that's China story number one. Number two, cybersecurity names have to be in focus today, Brendo. Yeah. The Chinese regulator coming out telling their companies do not use these American cybersecurity names, in addition to the Israeli one as well. So American and Israeli cybersecurity names should be in focus. PanW has exposure there. I was telling Neil off camera, I was kind of surprised. You're a Chinese company. Are you using American cybersecurity company? I mean, I already felt a little bit weird there, but nonetheless a story.
And that might be the reason why some of these really shrugging this off, not really reacting. CrowdStrike, one of those, CRWD, basically, I mean, it's down, but ever so slightly versus where we were yesterday. A little bit weak, though, right across the board to start things off. Dow down about a third for the S&P. Nasdaq leading the way once again on the weak side of things, 0.5% in negative territory right now. We're seeing a bump in oil once again today, back-to-back days, back to the upside, full percent right now for oil on the high side. So for the economic side of things, 8:30 is going to be the main one this morning. Again, a whole bunch of inflation-related data, producer side of the scale this morning after we get consumer prices yesterday. We'll also get retail sales and then some housing data coming up at 10.
And speaking of consumer prices and the inflation, have you seen silver? Again, 6% here to start the morning. Another all-time high for SLV. It's the number one story on the morning, you know, as it should be, Brendo. Multiple days, every time this is gapping up.
Silver, I said this to Raheem yesterday, silver is officially a meme stock, apparently, for some reason, but unreal. Just continues to absolutely rip. Yeah, Joe going to be on the sidelines for a few days here. Obi will be in for the midday this morning. Sean and Neil are both here, though. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry that we're here. I can always make sure my
the only thing stronger than the move in silver is the grit and determination of Shavers on the Bills, who tore his ACL in the game and finished the game.
What?
So
what position is that guy?
He's a wide receiver. Two Bills wide receivers. He's like our fifth.
Oh, okay. I've never even heard of him.
So two guys tore their ACLs. So we basically have nobody. But dude did it in the second quarter and finished the game. I've never actually.
Wow.
Like there's injuries that you can come back from. Bless you.
Who was that? Oh, that was Sharif. Oh my God, I thought that was
Usually
Randy.
It's me that does like a crazy, earth-shattering sneeze, but that was 100% Sharif that time. No, but this silver move, man, it's ridiculous.
CompuCare team, first of all, I mean that move is absolutely nuts. Okay.
Oh, I see that.
All right, it's already done. Can we bring Brendan and Sharif, or you know, can you visit here with Neil, and stake is on him. Ooh. NYC.
Well, New York. He says NYC.
Yeah, New York. Brendan's down. He just wants to know where we're supposed to meet.
Well, you know Sharif is down.
So, yeah.
It's not fried chicken.
CompuCare, why don't you just come here, man? Then you got all four of us right here. We got Adara here. We've got everybody. Right? Sharif, you want to go for some steak?
Absolutely, Sean. Are you kidding me?
He has a piece of ribeye in his mouth right now.
Protein, Sean, protein.
All right, back over here, Andre. Let the man eat. Let the man eat. What the hell?
The camera was, oh my goodness.
Wow, okay.
First of all, the camera had clearly gone to, Sharif was about to talk, and I figured I would take that moment to very subtly get some protein myself. We got bacon and eggs today.
Yeah, it was good. And I actually told the caterer, I was like, you know, ever since there was that little coup against the carbs, there hasn't been any more carbs. So we just get the, well, there's carbs. There's side bagels and stuff like that, but we don't have the pancake, waffle. We don't want them to bring chicken and waffles. You know, chicken a little bit too greasy. You know what I mean? What?
We absolutely.
I got the fruit salad.
It's like
over there.
I think I took most of the pineapple. It seems.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Probably because you thought there was pizza waiting to put you could put on it. But silver and gold keeps going higher. Nvidia catching a little bit of heat over the last couple of days. It was amazing to see yesterday Intel run high, and we're gonna see. Honestly, like it's been the best stock for me the last 2 days. Doesn't mean that's the Nvidia chart still. There it is. Doesn't mean we'll be trading it today. Opens up with a little bit of flare today, up 1.65% again, is Intel. I think that's a little misleading because we had some dark pool prints there, but actually, no, it's right. So this is what I kind of call a fugazi move up because you had such a good move down there right at the end of the day that you're actually just back to where you were in the last hour, but that doesn't mean that it's not a strong stock. I mean, if it was a weak stock, it would be down. So we'll have to watch out for Intel, but the position for me here would be this $47 area for Intel. We'll look over there, and then as Sharif, Brendan, Neil, we always talk about this silver trade, and I said I came into it, I was like, who's hitting the button here to buy this thing up another 6%, but this commodity super cycle is on, and it's like once it's on, there is no stopping this. And I've learned a lesson after 20-something years in trading. Like, I didn't think this kind of stuff would be able to happen. I mean, I was told that gold is not even worth investing in, basically. Why would you be invested in gold when you could just be invested in basically anything else over my whole, let's just say the last 24 years of me doing this. It was only in my 25th year where I realized something like this is very, very possible. And it was just amazing how far gold has gone in some copper, gold, silver, platinum. We had yesterday, actually, Brian on, and he was talking about the metals company. And he was thinking, and again, he's only talking about a swing trade, so we're not going to put words in his mouth here, but this looked like a decent breakout level. And I think you took a stock like, was it FCX? There was a stock that you took that looked similar to this that was looking to break. Oh, maybe it was CRISPR.
No, but
it just looked like this.
FCX is breaking.
Yeah.
Like that was different. Like I think
the stock I was thinking about for you was CRISPR. Well, it could have been right there actually. That break in FCX.
Well, here's the frustrating thing about it. Obviously, you guys know when we made our picks, we were
on the 11th
vastly delayed in terms of making our picks. And for myself, like here, I'll put up a daily chart of FCX because that's the context that we're looking at. Like at the beginning of the year in January, we're actually breaking out this 54. Like this came to my attention. Like I'm pretty sure I wrote this one down, like 52. And then oddly enough, I'm leaving it up on my iPad that I change my pick just to every single day remind myself, why did you switch from Boeing? I really do like Boeing this year. No, but FCX I think works. CRISPR was a different one because I think it's a very similar. It's a good setup, but it hasn't broken out yet. That was sort of the pivot to something which hasn't gone instead of trying to chase a move. But these moves, and we only really talk about silver and gold, but when you start talking about all of the miners and it's just, and then all the geopolitical issues as well. Like you really start to think about it. There was a post, and I think it was J.C. Peretz, and he was talking about this morning about just the Mag 7 relative to the S&P and how much they're breaking down. And what I wanted to show is you look at Apple. We'll talk some Meta today, with the exception of Google and Amazon. These are all starting to lag significantly. Even this morning, like we just had Citigroup, BAC, JP Morgan yesterday. The banks were also strong. Those are starting to pull back. There's some legitimate rotations from some themes that were working last year. I mean, Citi's not down that much, but you can see like it was a very distinct uptrend, and now you're starting to pull back. So we got some new things happening, and one of those is also Bitcoin is at 95K. 95. We are over that 94 resistance. There's another chart. Yeah. Like this is potentially breaking back out on Bitcoin, and well, I'm showing you guys IBIT. So I think there's some room for this to rally. I like this one for a long today. As long as 94 holds, I think that's going to be pretty key. Yeah, there's a lot to cover, and we've got a bunch going on. Some Fed speak today. Beige book is going to be out. We'll see how that goes. And I don't know the timing for this in terms of the decision on the tariffs. No clue. But the last I checked, I think it was Polymarket had it like 72% that they.
But we don't have a timing thing,
but we have no idea when that may or may not be. So that should be that could move the market.
We saw a real big trade and a real big opportunity yesterday with our news reporting. And if you're not tuned in because we have the most handsome hosts, you're tuned in hopefully for the news, right? We had this little story right there, right at the end of the day, that Adair dropped to us with about 15 minutes left in the day, that Netflix was potentially revising their offer just to all cash. It's basically the same $30. It's just, here, we'll give you a 20 and a 10 and get out of here. So that's like what we're thinking about here with Netflix. And then today you get up that $1.63, that 1.63%, almost $1.63. And then that wasn't the trade that I chose yesterday. We both went into Warner Brothers, that all of a sudden, caught this move. And so just being able to punch in there. As soon as I heard Adair come on and report that, there was a higher bid potentially, or an altered bid with cash, then I was like, boom, let's go, because cash is cash. So that's $30. So you gotta, obviously it's not gonna close, they don't think, until this third quarter, potentially even longer now. But right into there, busting that through. And we were able to hold out for, my best out was like 84, 85. So right into there yesterday. So that was a big, huge move there for Warner Brothers. So congratulations for anybody. And it's temporary. I don't know if Netflix could drop back in, right? We'll be looking at Netflix today, though, I think $90.50 or so. So that was a good dip buy. It's basically right on my average price now. Like I bought some at 96 when it first came in, and then we bought some at, I think it was $90.20 exactly. So we're in and around 93 bucks here. For the play. Hey, Randy.
Oh, shoot, I got that one already.
Today would have been a good day to wear shorts around here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, brother.
What did you do? You turn the sauna on before you left last night, or? All right, he's out of here. Yeah, we came in and it was, well, you guys were in earlier than me, but apparently it was
a little hot in here.
It was like 105 degrees in here or something.
You won't see me rubbing my hands like I'm freezing cold today.
I went into the server room and it was like, oh my God. It was,
it was over.
Like a dry sauna up in there.
Well over 100 in there. Easy in the server room.
On that note, we have no more quotes. What happened to the server? No, but it's okay. Right here.
You say that, and then
to your point though about JC Peretz or what you're talking about there with the mags. I covered this yesterday a little bit. This stock is the Mag 7, all equally weighted. So you don't have to trust Neil with his analysis there of the two that are failing. Those are the two that are underneath, but you could just take them all. It's like that Jets ETF. We talked about that. You often hear us talk about XLF, which is the bank ETF, which could be, obviously in play over this week. But here we go. If you are nervous about the mags, it's been mags to riches, but it could be the other way around, because right now, if you drop below this $65 mark, then yeah, you probably do get into the 62, 63 area. So watch out for this stock. But it's a big one, right? I mean, it performs with those 7 stocks. So
I love this question.
If you don't know where to go, now you know.
Eddie, I want half Eddie.
What does he want?
What do you think? I haven't watched Raw in a long time. I got to watch that again. What do you think is the hardest part of being a day trader?
Still like Delirious, though, better.
I think Delirious is better than Raw.
I just love the fact that he's in there in that red jumpsuit.
No, but he has leather with Raw. He has the purple one.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I like the red kind of, I don't know, anyways.
It's less ridiculous, the Raw outfit. We're talking about Eddie Murphy, by the way, which maybe that's obvious. Sometimes I can't tell, but I think our audience probably gets it.
That Delirious is like 40 years old. Close.
You know what?
Maybe not 40, but maybe.
It was the 80s, so yeah.
It's 35 years old.
It's depressing sometimes. It's always definitely in the 80s. So.
You see.
Man, we're old. I think the hardest part is also something that makes it like the best. It's kind of a weird analogy. Like, so think
83.
83? Oh my goodness.
October 15th, 1983 on HBO.
When was Raw then?
It was actually filmed in August.
Because Raw was like maybe a few years later.
I'll figure it out. Anyways, answer the question. I'll get this done.
So I think of trading like it's like sports, right? So if you go play basketball, like every single time you see an NBA game or football, field's the same size, ball is the same. I mean, the ball's supposed to be the same weight as long as someone's inflating it the right way. And the rules are basically the same. The goal is, sort of all the same things. The market's the same way. Like you're looking at a stock, there's a quote, it opens at such time, right? And you can buy and sell, you've got your buying power. All of these things are very similar. But what makes it really, really unique and cool is that it's always different. But that's also the hardest part about being a day trader, is that no matter how close things will align or look the same, they're just not. Like we're down 0.5%, we're gap down 0.5% in the market. That's going to look completely different one day and react different than it will the next day. And silver might have a pattern going on where, hey, look, if you buy the dips when it's gapped up, it's like, well, that's worked 4 times out of 5, but it doesn't mean it's going to work the next day. So it's like a living, breathing, changing environment, which makes it really cool. That's the best part about it. But that also makes it very difficult because most of what you do as a trader is just pattern recognition. You're observing patterns and trying to find edge off of those so that you can move on to the next day. But just there's no guarantee that when you observe something it's working, it's going to continue because it's constantly adapting. Have a look at, just ask Jalen Hurts, right? Like the RPO is dead. And so what made him and the Philly such a ridiculous offense? It's like, look how quickly the league caught up to them. So now the challenge is then for them to come back. It's the same thing in trading. It's the hardest part about it, but it also keeps it fresh and exciting. So hopefully, Eddie, 1537. Thank you, YouTube, for the random names that you've given everybody in the chat.
You can, you can change them, but
no, you can't. You can go into your YouTube profile, and it's like your channel page is now the name. So if you do change it, if you want like a more personalized name, that's all.
All right, Brendan and Sharif, did you guys see that question about what makes a day trader? What's the hardest thing about being a day trader? So I'll throw that, Sharif, to you for your opinion. You're trading here live every day on the show.
Subjectivity, Sean, the emotions that come into play. Personally, I think that the trade is one thing, and then your input at the point of entry is another thing. I mean, that's why a lot of everybody's switching sort of to the algorithm-based and to remove the subjective and the emotional component out of that. 100%. To me, how about yourself?
Yeah, same. Just being able to compartmentalize, I think. You have a bad day, something doesn't work, the market does something weird, and you blow up. Being able to come back the next day, do it again, exactly the same way, because in the back of your head, long term it works. Like that specifically. It's just the mental part.
I talked about it on the midday yesterday. There was this EVTV, I think it was one of the names of the tickers. It had, I was right on it to start, even though it had a nice breakout, and then it broke through the trend line. And I was saying on the show quite openly, I'm a little gun shy on this one, despite the fact that it's setting up in the right way. Yeah. I'm not taking the trade on it because I haven't performed well. And what the hell? I mean, it's not like a current state of affairs that's going to continue, right? A trade is judged individually on every individual basis. So removing the emotional component to me has been the toughest part.
Yeah, it's really easy to overanalyze, I think, as well, specifically on a short time frame, on an intraday basis. Yep. Being able to look at, years and years and years of data and then just trying to fine tune it to a point where it gets ridiculous. But anyway, let's talk about Rivian here real quick. Randy was so upset about the downgrade that he broke the heater apparently. WFC, first off, just made a day low there. I was checking 91.50 coming into play. I mean, the banks are just negative outside of Citigroup right now, right back to the upside. So BAC, we'll touch on this coming up, but BAC, day lows, WFC, basically day lows. Citigroup here on the way back to the upside. But yeah, let's touch on Rivian. This was a pretty extensive note. I went through all of this before we came on this morning. And I mean, this is UBS downgrading Rivian, but they're talking about a 20% downside risk here. Yep. Their target right now is 20% lower. Specifically pointed to that AI day that they had. Yep. Said that's priced in now, and we're only up 15% since only. Up 15% since that day. Yeah. And then they were talking a little bit about the R2 and some manufacturing difficulties they're still seeing with that. So they're just not seeing the light, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But I know it's such a tough business to scale in, and we've seen it's so capital X heavy. And And the demand currently, sadly, in North America for these EVs is not where it was about 5 years ago. Let's talk about what UBS said, though. They downgraded Rivian from a neutral to sell, so now they're quite bearish on it, dropping the price target to $13 from $15, citing less attractive risk to reward setup. It's about a 15% rally, as you mentioned, Brendo, since AI Day. But UBS flagged elevated expectations around the R2 platform, which is going to be that cheaper, smaller version of the R1S. It's not going to be 3 rows, but it's going to cater to a lot more people. They're projecting, Brendo, 26 and 27 vehicle sales to be 16 and 19% below what the current estimates by the street are. So if you're not selling them, how can you make money, AI or self-driving or not? It is quite challenging.
And Elon and Tesla, aggressively at this point, really shifting focus towards robotics, AI, autonomous vehicles here. So that all being said, this chart, guys, if you just go back to November anyway, still looking pretty constructive here. Yeah, we're in a pullback, we're in a bit of a drawdown, but coming back into decent levels here for Rivian.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got some room, not a ton, to get to the 50 period, which I think is the level you're talking about, like at 617.7. I threw that one into the note because I just feel like it looks like a pretty decent bounce spot. But most of the time when it consolidates, it's like a multi-day event. So I want to be aware of it. That said, it did make a bit of a flat bottom break. Like it went into support without breaking it yesterday. So kind of usually want to feel out some kind of a pop and fade into the prior low is my first look. But if we're thinking about Rivian in the higher time frame, okay, so how badly did Rivian get beaten up really? That's a good looking daily chart, right? I think everyone can agree that daily chart looks pretty good, but that's just 2025. And if we move on to looking at this one on the weekly, doesn't really feel like this bounce has done a heck of a lot. And if you look really closely, there's now a 200 period on the weekly, and it's basically bouncing off this. So I think, I think 2 ways here. For the day trade today, I am going to initially look short because you get like a flat bottom breakdown like this through a support level. I'm generally looking for a continuation short first. But in the next couple of days, probably through the end of this week, I think if we start to get any consolidation off of this level, there can be like a trend breakout for sure. Whoops, this is what I wanted to do. Like you could have a nice little trend back in, hold a 50 period, and then a trend breakout. I think that's a more appealing play than looking for a day trade into the 50 period. So I think you got to wait for this, wait it out. I don't know that it's going to make the bounce today. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to favor the other side of the trade. The market's a little bit weak. It has been trending down, so it's kind of like it's a short till it shows you the bounce here on Rivian. But when you zoom it out and look at the higher time frame, there's pretty much nothing wrong with this pullback. If anything, you're just kind of waiting for your spot to get the bump. I no longer hold Rivian, so I'd actually consider maybe I'd want to swing that. I don't know if I'd want to buy it out right up here. But yeah, I do think you have to be a bit patient here today. And someone in the chat was like, oh, are you guys going to talk about FSD no longer, with Tesla here, FSD no longer a yearly, you got to go monthly on it. Yeah, well, Elon's got to make that cash. It's not moving Tesla stock. But certainly it does show that there is some price, let's just say, and margin concern in the space. That's always been true for Rivian. And when it's true for Tesla, it's not like it can be better for the likes of Rivian.
So for me, I actually have Rivian as the #1 trade today. So I'm pretty confident in this short. Just the way it's been going, and then now they come out with the clause today once it breaks through this 1850. So yeah, I think it's game over right here temporarily for Rivian. It's UBS, it's a downgrade. They're talking about the demand for the R2. So boots on ground, if they know that it's not as fruitful as the stock price has given it, then it will come back in, man. This is a stock that does not make money. You do not want to be one of those names in this environment. We've seen this sort of the year of magical investing come to an end last year. Obviously, there's been a little bit of a bump up in some of those quantum names and nuclear names. But if Rivian's not going to make money, it's not going to be investable. Although interest rates obviously staying low helps names in the car business and does help companies that need to borrow money to fund operations. I just think Rivian is a breakdown today. And yeah, I marked down, I wrote down 1750 maybe coming into play there, and I don't think that that's far off. That's 80 cents from here, and that would be your 50-period moving average. So the level that I wrote down in here was just yesterday's close. Like I wrote down 1875. So if we can get into this rough zone right into here for Rivian, then I think that that's going to be a short. And then we can, you know, get out 19, even if we, depending on how, well, I mean, the share size is going to be important, but we'll see how we feel about it. But yeah, this 1910 to 1920 could be our out. So I think it's like 40 or 50 cents here. The only problem is if this rips up, you know, people could be like, oh, we're wrong, and then they get caught and they punch out, and then it comes back in. So whoopsies. So this could be a multiple play here today. We could get stopped out early if it does take these out, but we want to stay on the short for Rivian. With a flat market, I just think that down 3% is and a reason here to go. We saw Intel with an upgrade, and it absolutely smoked yesterday all day. So I think Rivian catches a downgrade at a right time, and we'll talk about that Tesla news coming up. And it wasn't, it didn't switch from yearly, it just switched from the, you mentioned it, I think it was just a slip. It was the lifetime.
Yeah, you can't, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's
so
only one option.
Here in Canada, it's 18 grand or something, 16 grand. I was like, why would I ever pay that when it's literally $100 a month? Like, I don't understand how many years you'd have to own the car for that to be worth it, and I don't think you'll get that money back in the resale side of it anyway. So I love the subscription base. I don't know if it makes more or less money for Tesla, because
generally speaking, I think the whole idea is that they like subscription based because you charge a little bit more with it, and then on top of that, you can possibly get more people to do it in the first place. I just want to, there's some movers here, just one I want to get to. There's always movers in small cappers, but CleanSpark just made another high here. There is news on this one. The company announced an agreement to acquire 447 acres of land in Brazoria County, Texas, along with long-term transmission facilities extension agreement. So that's only about 6.5%. But the reason why this one ends up being interesting is just like I feel like there's a lot of stocks which are breaking back out to 50 period. You got Bitcoin doing it here, and you got CleanSpark bouncing as well. Hey, accumulation. Look at that. Accumulates for a week off the 200 period moving average, and then boom, you get an announcement, and then you get the breakout. Someone always knows something. So CleanSpark looks like it could be on the radar. Volume's decent. I'd call it more good, not great. And I'm assuming the bang was Sharif likes this small capper. It just broke the highs, and it's well above VWAP.
Can we talk a little bit about this FSD as well?
Please.
Because part of the theory that Elon's been floating around, God, for how long now, was that your car is going to be a mobile taxi. You're at work, Sean's Model 3 works its way out of the garage, it starts driving people around the city, and it generates money for him while he's here punching, bless you, Neil, punching into positions. So from that side of things, if you're going to pay whatever it is, it's going to be $100 a month. All right, so then you do the profit and loss like every other business. I'm $100 in expense. Here's my energy charges, but I generated $500 a month driving people around the city of Toronto. Right? And so that's the theory. If you believe that your car is upgradable, especially if you have hardware version 4, maybe 3 not so much, Brendo, but if you have hardware version 4, the idea is you're going to get that unsupervised FSD, and then that's going to be able to generate money from you. And I think that that's what he's targeting, because imagine just paying a one-off fee, $8,000, whatever it is now, Brendo, and you're able to generate income for, I don't know, in perpetuity until the car is not drivable anymore. Whereas much more business-like and much more, you know, kind of a normal course of business is to have an expense on one side, a recurring, a fixed cost, and then your profit on the other one, or your revenue you're generating on the other one. So it should be interesting to see whether that actually comes to fruition. And if it does, do people use it that way?
Yeah, I mean, you would have to, theoretically, you would have to have some sort of revenue to offset that,
right,
as you said, that ongoing cost for that. Someone who's just, you know, driving it for themselves is a little bit of a different story. But I mean, let's see. I mean, like we were saying, you know, that in itself as a SaaS can be a huge business for them.
And I think it makes it more attractive to other people, quite frankly, as well. I don't have to ante up $8,000 at the point of sale. Right. If I want, I can take it for a few months. And Sean, he's already confirmed to me that you can get it on a monthly basis.
And is that, I don't even know, maybe, guys, maybe you know, is that like, can you sell that with the car?
Yes, yes, it comes with the car. So once FSD's tied to the car, it's tied in perpetuity, Brendo, yeah.
I was just reading a note here on Airbnb. More people taking off from Meta. I was trying to find that note again. But another executive departing from Meta, heading over to Airbnb. This one specifically, quietly having a pretty good start to 2026 here. But I mean, you can go all the way back to the end of November, beginning of December, even at the end of last year. I mean, we've been straight upside for Airbnb since then. Just hearing, let's jump over here to PPI as it is 8:30. We'll get that refreshed here for you as well. What did we get? I'll scroll up here. Where is it? PPI month over month. Still waiting for that to populate, but I did hear that come through in my ear. Do you see that anywhere? I don't have that.
I don't have PPI. I can double check.
Oh, here we go. 0.6%. So a little bit higher than expected. So 0.6%. Oh, sorry, that was U.S. retail sales. In line with expectations on the month over month. PPI number 0.2% versus 0.3%. Core PPI 3%, so higher, versus 2.7%. That's the yearly number. So on the core side of things, 3% versus 2.7%. U.S. core PPI month over month, dead flat. They were expecting 0.1% of an uptick. Core retail sales as well, just out 0.5% versus 0.4%. The overall number, though, 3% versus 2.7%. Into that CPI number we got yesterday, a lot of economists saying this one could be a little bit hot. It was actually in line with expectations yesterday. This one looks like it is a little bit of an uptick.
You know, I don't know how many months we are now after Liberation Day. Are we still going to get those tariff increases in CPI? I'm still waiting for those. All the while, the economy is growing at a 5% mark. So it's going to be interesting to see how the market digests that today, but good from both sides, consumer side, producer side today. Just to build on your point, Brenda, with the exit of talent out of Meta, because you were mentioning that earlier. So here it is, Airbnb co-founder Brian Chesky and CEO, of course, he shared an email with employees. He said, "Hey team, I'm excited to share that Ahmad Al-Dali is joining us as new CTO, Chief Technology Officer. He's one of the world's leading experts in AI. He joins us from Meta, where he led generative AI and the team behind Llama." I don't know if that's good or bad, because Llama's not very good, nor do people really like it.
But you can see how this can potentially fit into Airbnb, the AI side of things. I mean, there's already plugins for ChatGPT to do that for you. But anyways, if they have their own, it might be a little bit more convenient. Here is the overall market reaction on that number. A little bit of a downside tick, guys. Numbers are on the screen there.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
not like yesterday.
Yesterday's reaction to the CPI print was, I'd say, about as disappointing as you're going to get. But it was at least informative, because it put in a top that was very, very effective throughout the rest of the day. Like right at the open, you were failing to break out that high. And I think that put the kaputs in a lot of, that sort of separated what was working for longs from everything else, right? Like you had things like Intel, which continued to go, or like silver, which continued to go when the market didn't make that high. But anything else that failed to top with it ended up being a bit of a reversal play. And then in the afternoon, we get the big V shape, and we couldn't bust through it again. I don't know where we're getting that big a bit of a signal. However, it would at least bear mentioning that the high this morning on the Nasdaq is yesterday's low. So we got like a double or triple bottom here, which for now we've rejected. I just don't know if we got as much information.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy.
We saw Rivian today. You see the downgrade on Rivian?
Yeah.
We heard you're a little upset about that one.
Well,
Are you? You're in a 10.
You want to get longer.
11,
This is a good opportunity for you.
This is a 50 period right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Buy the dips.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you believe in it in a really long-term sense, a lot of times you are trying to buy the dips. Like, I mean, think of if you could never find value to get in, then you end up like Warren Buffett just recently gave an interview talking about how that $380 billion in cash that they got, you just can't find anything to make a bet on. And I could see, I mean, that's a lot of money to burn a hole in your pocket, obviously. Which,
Come on, Warren. You can't find anything.
Kind
Come
of
on,
a nice
Warren.
problem to have when you really think
Must
about
be
it.
getting old. You can't find anything, Warren? Come on, man. Buy above silver. Yeah, no. I mean, Randy did.
Maybe
I mean,
he's buying Apple then,
he had. Yeah, probably.
He's done now, but
apparently he's done, right? Yeah, Randy had claimed that he had missed that bottom, so we'll have to find out when. You never get the bottom. You never get the bottom. You never get the top. So, like, I sold a little bit of Intel yesterday, and so we'll see if it breaks through $50. Actually, working on the sticky note right now for that exact.
You know, the only times you get the bottom, I'm being real. The only time you'll get the bottom is if the bottom ends up being like a Liberation Day type of day. Like if you. Like anything, you're like, oh my goodness, when everything was panicking in the morning, if you bought something on a day like that, that's your best bet. Because usually that's, or you're gonna have some kind of like higher low. Like you have to be buying the biggest point of panic. And then every now and then it turns into 2008 and it really wasn't the biggest point of panic. It can definitely
We could have a Liberation Day today, possibly.
Well, yeah, I was showing this.
I mean, it won't be that dramatic.
I said it, I didn't show it, but here, this is Poly Market. It's still, like, they have it the other way. I said 73%, but I guess it's the other way. 27% chance that the Supreme Court rules in favor of the tariffs. That has made a notable shift, but it's actually been bouncing higher a little bit here in the last little week or so. But yeah, we don't really know when we're going to get that. I would suspect that you could have some movement in the markets if we were to get a decision like that today. And we'll see. Yeah, not much reaction to that PPI, but I think there's bigger things potentially on tap today. That's the thing.
All right. Yeah, let's go back over the desk here. It's 8:35. We just had those numbers, slightly higher prints on the PPI, and the market sort of reacted a little lower to those numbers. But, you know, the CPI is what everyone's looking at, the consumer yesterday. And, yeah, the outlook was still 95% chance of no cut. So coming January 28th. So actually, it's 2 weeks today. Actually, there you go. January the 28th, we have Fed rate cut expectations, or Fed rate decision, I should say. I don't want to use the word cut because if you look right onto here, you will see, yeah, so now it's 97% chance, right? And then heading into the March, it's still, like, even March is still 75, let's call it 73% chance of no cut as well. We actually don't get the likelihood, even a third. Wow, April's no cut expectation. Okay, so it looks like June is the very first time where the odds are in favor of a 25% rate cut. So we got to go 6 months. That's through 2 earnings cycles before we get an interest rate cut, according to the Fed rate watch tool by the CME there. So you got to go all the way to middle of the year before we get that cut. And then we've already talked about what December looks like. That's where you have a third chance of 2 cuts by the time December hits the calendar. So yeah, it's going to be a year of, you know, very, very specific in what you're looking for investing wise. The banks did not help us yesterday with JP Morgan. We'll see the effect today, guys, over at the desk as we discuss Wells Fargo and Citigroup and some of those other banks. Goldman and Morgan are tomorrow. And then the regional banks as well. And BAC is the big one.
BAC's getting hit.
Yeah, that's
They're
down too. Yeah,
down 2% here right now. That's the biggest reaction so far. But I mean, I was saying this yesterday. Like, it was kind of hard for any of them to have that big of a day after JP Morgan had great numbers and got beaten down. So, like, you know, Wells, we'll talk about Wells. Wells missed on revenue. I'm like, oh, good luck with that. See how that works. And I like Wells Fargo this year. But yeah, still a lot to talk about for sure. And I see the boys are always scanning the headlines. Do we have, just out of curiosity, I don't know, Brennan, but do we have any indication time-wise? I've been scouring for even someone to, like, speculate as for the Supreme Court thing.
If it does come, it'll be 10 a.m. again.
10 a.m.?
If you remember back on Friday, it was scheduled for 10 o'clock. They came out just before that and said they're not going to make the decision today, and then they pushed it to today. So if we do hear anything, it will be 10 o'clock or thereabouts this morning. So hopefully, if not, we do get another heads up saying it won't be today. So let's do a quick recap here. Lots of people just coming in. Good morning. Come join us at 8 o'clock every single day. We come on at 8 now, guys, not 8:30 anymore. Here we go. PPI rundown for you. PPI month over month we got 2 of them actually there. For October, 0.1%. For November, 0.2%. Core PPI month over month for November, they're flat versus a 0.2% uptick that was expected. Retail sales, 0.4 versus 0.4. Retail sales ex autos, 0.5 versus 0.4. So a little bit on the high side as we saw. And as the guys were mentioning there, a little bit of a downtick for the overall market. There was some questions around Sure, yeah, bring it. Yeah, come over here. Come over here. I'm not sure who this is from, but CompuCare team. Thank you. It's always Krispy Kremes too. Like,
I was just there and they knocked and I heard so.
Amazing. Thank you, Adair.
Thank you.
Thank you, CompuCare team. Yes.
Thank
as
you
well.
very
We'll-
much.
We'll make sure. I mean, maybe this is not the best place for them, but we'll make sure someone takes care of the Krispy Kreme donuts. But yeah, thanks very much. There was a lot of talk going into this week on the economic growth side of things and the speed at which we could see that accelerate going into the second half of the year. As Sean was alluding to, if we get 2, maybe 3, they're pricing in by the end of the year, at least consideration of cuts going into the end of the year. You put that on top of, the already expectation of what they've done to this point, the GDP could get pretty exciting.
And you've got to make that assumption, Brendo. Let's just call the facts as they are. Chair Powell likely is out in May. Okay. Now, the point of why this whole investigation is coming to light now, at least, in speculating, is that they want rates to get cut earlier because they want that to be felt by the midterm elections. Now, whether or not that ends up happening, rates will get cut because there is going to be a new person as the Fed chair in May. And one must assume that they will be closely aligned with President Trump's view on rates. So whether or not it's Fed Chair Powell and the current committee cutting rates now or between now and May, or them cutting after May aggressively, it's just, I think that what they want is for that to be felt earlier so that people go into the election with a less sour taste in their mouth with respect to cost of living.
And how much does this new Fed chair coming in affect what happens in the second half of this year?
That's what I'm saying.
I was listening to Bloomberg a little bit this morning, and they made a good point in the sense that, yes, the Fed chair, the single Fed chair is going to be different, but the rest of the group is not changing.
Yeah.
And the rest of the group has opinions and has had opinions. I mean, they have shifted, I think, a little more dovish since the narrative has changed from the White House, but it's only one, right? Like, it's not, it's not the entire
But
group.
it's a chair-centric committee.
Of course.
And here's another little possible theory that's being floated around. Again, no confirmation on anything at all. But apparently, Fed Chair Powell could stay on the committee as a committee member, which would be unprecedented for a Fed chair to stay on after their term is up or after they've been removed as Fed chair. Of course, it's never happened. Likely, probably won't, but that is something that's being floated around given the kind of current dynamics between the administration and the Fed.
Someone was mentioning in the chat, just going back a couple of minutes ago, about the GDP. We were talking a little bit about a potential 5 print. It was the Atlanta Fed GDP Now reading that came out last week, which is a survey, essentially, of that area, and that came out at 5.4% annualized for 2026. So that's where that came from. But a lot of potential upward momentum here, guys, going into the second half of the year on that side.
Bring one up,
Bruce.
Oh, there's CompuCare team. Okay.
He's in the chat. There it is.
Now
we
said how. Yeah, he delivered 3 dozen donuts there. Thank you to Adara and for bringing that through, and thank you CompuCare team. So very nice.
I was saying if it had been.
I was going to say we got to get something more on the healthy side because you guys will never have any of these.
Look, it's Charlie Brown.
Yeah, it's a Christmas box there.
Yeah, we didn't watch that this year.
Oh, the Charlie. Yeah, we never watched the Charlie Brown Christmas either this year. Yeah, look, I don't know what Jerome Powell is going to wind up deciding to do, but we know that his term is going to be up in May. And there's not much as far as to look at. We've talked about the dollar, and we've talked about how he's been way too late to everything. That's the opinion of the current administration. And then I think that the maple one, I like. I mean, maple is good. Man, you just open it up and all you just wafting that smell. You guys are killing us over here right now. You guys said something healthy over here. Wow. Yeah, Randy's all about it, man. And Randy, man, they got all the good ones in here too. Thank you. Thank you so much to CompuCare team, man. I mean, this is,
well, I know what
you went above and beyond here.
Absolutely, for sure. Thank you, CompuCare team, because my daughter thanks you too. She loves this one, so I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to take that home for her.
Oh, that's the Oreo one.
That's the Oreo one that she is in love with.
Yeah, I'm going to take some home to my kids too at some point.
Make sure she gets that.
Yeah, I'm taking the whole box home, Brendan. We got hockey tonight and everything, so I'll give it to the Give it to the. No, I'm just joking. Well, you know what? The other thing too is there's a lot of people like Obi's here. There's a lot of people in the back. You know, so we just want to. We're just joking around. We want to thank you for all of that right now. Here, we'll just close this for now so it doesn't. But anyways, we'll keep it there. Thank you so much, CompuCare team, for that. No, but I was going to say like all of that. We talked about it yesterday. Unfortunately, the sort of DOJ inquiry here into Jerome Powell and the spending and everything there of the building out of the Fed and how that all looks and the you know, subpoena or whatever is going to wind up happening there with Jerome Powell, I think leaves a sour taste in the mouth right now of how this is all going to end for him. But I think it was a pretty decent, I mean, the market's going to go out on his watch at all-time high, give or take a huge collapse coming out right now. He worked through a lot of obviously turmoil with COVID and then with Trump appointing him the first time, and then he had to go through the whole President Trump administration. Then he's flipped it over with Democrats and then back to Trump. Like, I think he's done a really good job of actually managing some of the outside rhetoric that comes from politics. And, you know, it's been obviously a big intervention with the president that we don't normally see. We know that Donald Trump is a stock market president. He's come out and said that he looks at the markets and he tweets about them. So that's extra pressure being added to the Fed to make sure that the markets stay, you know, afloat. So yeah, I think he's done a good job. And no matter what you do think of the policies and the timing of them, you know, it's got us to where we are, and I think a lot of us have hopefully made money in our longer-term portfolios.
We're all doing pretty well. And it's Data Robinson is in the chat. It isn't unprecedented. It's not the norm is the best way to think about it. It did happen years and years ago, and it can happen. I more liken it to when you've got to that type of a pinnacle, like what is there left? Like usually you ascend to this role, like you've got to the highest level effectively, as an economist, really, to be the Fed chair, like what else is there? Maybe you could be in an administration, I suppose, and you've done so, and like Sean said, you've handled COVID, kind of steered things through. Either way, I would suspect there is going to be some kind of a tone change, but the markets are not budging on what they think early on this year at all. You know, like we're not, and none of the data that we've been getting so far has really budged from that. And I think that it lends some of the air out of how many cuts we're going to get this year. And I think you want to proceed in that realm, certainly. But yeah, you know, good luck to him. As I said, like I'm going to be more excited to look at earnings. I think this first quarter of earnings are going to be very, very big, especially when it comes to names like Micron and that kind of a thing where you're expecting a really ridiculously high expectation. So I think the focus will be on earnings, at least for the first quarter, and then we'll start thinking about cuts more as we get on in the year. That's just my take. But again, thank you for these donuts. Just even the smell of it, I'm trying not to just wolf this thing down. Because the problem is if I eat the first one too fast, then I'll probably end up eating 2 or 3.
What the hell, you took the maple one?
You want it?
No,
there's like one in each of the boxes.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, all these ones.
I actually never had the maple one at Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
Ever.
Drill, baby, drill. Yeah. Silver. Anyways, thank you to CompuCare team for sending these through. Yeah, look, it's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about bank earnings today. We have the Tesla on our mind with that FSD. A lot of people talking about that. And hey, you know what? With no further ado, let's look up D-Nut right now as we'll look up some Krispy Kreme stock. And let's just have a quick look at what this one's doing. They got that pump up there when Beyond Meat was sort of going crazy and people were worried about what the next sort of meme kind of crazy stock would be. But look at this, man. I mean, we haven't really looked at this too much, but this is a nice little trend higher here for Krispy Kreme. I mean, you know, back in the summertime, you're at the 250 level, you're now up to 428 and so. This could be a break long of 475 or so. You know, breaking the trend, looking pretty good here. Bounced off of, or not bounced off of, but has been bouncing off of this 50-period moving average. Now the 200-period, we are now above it finally for the first time in about a month and a half. Krispy Kreme donut, D-Nut, looking not too bad here as the expansion continues here in Toronto. I mean, there's a new one right there on College on my way home. So, yeah, they're opening up and expanding, and there goes Krispy Kreme to the upside. So this portion of the show brought to you by D-Nut and our friend CompuCare team. And thank you so much for sending these through. So see here we go. This is the power of advertising. If anybody out there has any business they want to advertise with us, you can clearly see we have no problem continuously mentioning the company name and the product.
And I will eat your delicious
right.
product.
And Neil will literally eat the donuts
on air.
You will eat it live on air. We didn't even get there's no.
My honest assessment.
This is called free advertising.
Delicious.
Yeah. How's the maple one, Neil?
So good. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I know I've legitimately never had this one, which is weird because we've had Krispy Kreme before. But I always get one of the fancy ones. The maple one is legit delicious. My wife is like, they're so sweet, but I'm like, it's just so good. It's just so good.
Yeah, they're so good.
Seriously.
These maple ones, sometimes you get them with bacon on them, and they're absolutely unbelievable. Bacon donuts. Bacon donuts. All right, let's go back over the desk. 10 minutes until our rundown at 9 o'clock, but join us every day at 8 a.m. now. We go live 8 a.m. every single day, where we have lots and lots of fun. We were saying that maybe get a big carafe of some sort of gourmet coffee up in here. I'm gonna get.
All you got to do is buy some ROLR stock, and then be up 360%, and you can buy all the coffee you want. What is that thing?
All right, let's go back over to Z-Desk.
Opening the box.
The smell is wafting over here,
The
Brenda.
smell is just not okay. It's worth noting, I mean, we had this Grok. I mean, it's not really a story, really. I mean, there was calls for Google and Apple to remove Grok from the App Store based on this image generation. Elon has actually come out right now and responded to this, basically saying that as of today, I guess, is what he's saying, that will no longer happen. So anything illegal will not be generated by Grok as of today. So it seems like that might be a non-story at this point.
Yeah, hopefully it remains controlled, but it was a women's group, actually, women's advocacy group, excuse me, that came out and called on Android or the Play Store, whatever they're calling it now, and the App Store to remove Grok and X, both from their services. Separately, you saw over the weekend, there were rumors of a combined effort between Canada, England, and Australia to ban X and Grok over these image generation claims. England and I believe Australia really haven't refuted that. Canada did. The Minister of AI, Evan Solomon, recently appointed by the new Prime Minister, came out on X, ironically enough, and said that they were not going to do anything like that, which is good because I think that X brings a lot of information to light that the traditional media doesn't with its problems. Let's just call a spade a spade. There's it's a cesspool of racism at times and et cetera on that platform, but it still has its very important uses.
Yeah, I mean, clearly this was not a on-purpose type of thing, and therefore should be fairly easily fixed or resolved with some sort of update. Let's talk about Netflix here. I was just hearing we're breaking downside, and it looks like 91.50, 91.60, trying to let go here back to the downside. But I mean, this thing had a huge move, not only after the close yesterday, extended that this morning here all the way up to almost 92.50 on the back of this story. Again, if you missed it yesterday, considering going all cash with their bid for WBD. Neil, you have some words for us.
I do. Before we get to Netflix, we'll talk about PDS Biotechnology. That's PDSB on the Nasdaq, and they're transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer, with an initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the U.S. in a few years. You can learn more at www.pdsbbiotech.com and link in the description as well. I want to shout out to them and thank them for sponsorship of this part of the show. Yeah, just do it or don't do it, Netflix. I mean, I felt when we got that headline in the afternoon that we would come this morning and see the specifics. Like, is it the prior deal was cash in stock of $27.75. The stock portion was incredibly convoluted. It was like, if Netflix is above these prices, then you get literally, like, it was like $4 something worth of Netflix stock, regardless of the price. And if it was below a certain price, then it was like a ratio of shares. And so when the stock falls and people say the deal's not worth as much, now they want to go all cash, but we haven't actually seen whether this is factual or not. The good news, I think the good news would be here that they're not raising, there's no indication of them raising the value of the bid. So presumably, based on what was said, it would still be $27.75 in cash. If that's true, and their response is this, and the board still favors it, that would be bullish for Netflix because they didn't have to raise their bid. If they come out and say, oh no, the cash portion that we're going to do is more than it was before, more than the value of the deal before, then you might see a bit of a backfill. So I think you do have to keep your ear to the ground. But I love that it put in a pretty clean double top here at 91, which kind of gives you a place for a base of support. Now the bodies of these candles are more like 90, 80, so I think you got to look a little bit underneath that even dollar level, and it's worth a look. I think until proven otherwise, however, on Warner Brothers, I mean, if you're trading in this, you've still been more of a ring the register above the 29 level. Like that's kind of been the way to navigate this. But that gets a little bit riskier in the event that Netflix were to come out and it's not just that they're going all cash, but the actual total value. If that changes and it's higher, it could bump this 29. And then you've also got to keep in mind that Paramount could, if Paramount responds by raising their bid, which right now is at 30, this could absolutely fly. Right now, it's perfectly priced in between the two bids. If Netflix is at $27.75 in theory, until we know otherwise, and then we're up at 30 was the high. It was just chilling out right in between, almost like hanging out in the midpoint of the two deals, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. That little happy medium that it's in, the second we get a headline, is probably going to get blown up. So I wouldn't be range-bound trading this today like you might have been able to the last couple of weeks. I'd stay away from that until we get an announcement from Netflix officially.
It makes me think about another thing that we had talked about earlier was the tariffs that were supposed to be put on some of these foreign films and foreign productions and things like that. So if we talk about Netflix and Warner Brothers, that's going to be one story. But this is really the story here, and that is that we were at 140, or the high back in summer, which was, we had the high in October for the Mag 7. We had the high here in, looks like in the summer here for Netflix, which Netflix is not a Mag 7 name, but does get sort of bunched into that whole tech stack a little bit with some of the names that were moving over the last decade for sure with Netflix. But yeah, this has been a pretty dramatic move down, right? I mean, you're almost down 40-something% from the highs right there back into $90. So I'm not like loving the way this looks. Like if this was any other stock, we'd be like, stay away. Like we broke the 200, we broke the 50, everything. This is even downward sloping right now on Netflix, right? But if you sort of branch out a little bit and go a little deeper, this is the weekly. You're getting into, this is why I think there's a lot of traders looking at this 80 to 85-ish area as a spot where if we do get down there, let's just say the Warner Brothers deal closes, Netflix gets it. I don't know if that immediately spikes the stock back up there, So if you're looking to buy some Netflix, love the company. I mean, it's in many, I don't know the exact number on the daily households, but in the United States, this is still an expansion story into India. There's still lots of opportunity for sort of global expansion there for Netflix. It's one of those things where they've cracked down on password sharing, and most of us have some connection to Netflix, whether or not we've had it in the past and have canceled it or whatever. My big thing here, the next kind of stories are, if Netflix gets this done, what does that do to the subscription price? Do they have to up the price $5, $10 a month to sort of help pay for Warner Brothers Discovery? And if they do, how elastic are consumers to that kind of a price change? If they do have something like that, is there a bundle that becomes available by Netflix with potentially other companies as well? Like I could see sort of an amalgamation between some of these companies as far as an offering, not to take over the company specifically, but could Disney, give some sort of a bundle with Netflix where you get live TV as well? I don't know, but anyways, that's the next sort of story here. And I like Netflix for the long run, but it doesn't look that great, man. That 85 area, I think, might be a spot to stop it on. And this just in, we just signed a deal with Netflix. Trader TV is going live.
Yay.
We're not, but that would be cool if it was on.
Cool.
But then we'd have to, what about the exclusivity? Because we're on YouTube.
YouTube is...
we're on YouTube. I don't want to upset Google over here.
YouTube is free. That's YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTube gets more, realistically, YouTube in terms
Yeah, YouTube's a better platform
it's
for
just
us.
a better platform for what we do, for sure. We did have a super chat. Nick, I answered you in the chat. There it is.
Okay.
It's a little slow when I press the button. You're thinking about initiating a position, and Bobby, you wanted my thoughts. It is a nice channel up, but I'll be the first to admit it's, drew this trend line, and then when it broke, I didn't add back in my my personal account. Sold 2/3 on the way up, and this was a textbook channel down and then a breakout. So I think it's a bit of a miss between 150 and 55, and you've already got a pretty hefty bounce off that trend line. Buying here feels like a chase, and I almost want it to hopefully pull back into the 50 period to do a buy. But you can always nibble small. The way I would see it is if you feel this is too much of a chase because you wanted a price closer to the 50 period, then if you buy if you're going to buy 10 grand, maybe you put in 2 or something up here with the notion that you're going to try to add at a better price if it does give you a dip buy. That's always an approach that you can do. I just feel this is a bit of a chase. I love Alibaba, but this was a miss not to get that breakout. Let's head, it's already 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's head up to the desk. Let's get into our
Netflix just called, but we had to hang it up.
watch list.
Yeah, let's go back to
We could always go to Apple TV.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
694, guys. That's where we closed. A little bit below 694, to be fair. That's where we closed yesterday on the SPY. We're headed down now with the overnight low being that 690 area. We're showing exactly 691. So look at this base over here at 687.50 that we found an area of support on a couple of days last week. So that will be our second area of support. Our first area is going to be that 690 area, which is the overnight low. If we catch a bid on the back of better PPI numbers, we're looking at yesterday's closing print, guys, at around high 693s, 694. Bless you, Neil, as resistance.
All right, let's get into everything we need to know this morning if you haven't done so yet. Link is below in the description for that. Top link, in fact, will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. It's free. All you need is an email address, and you can have that. Has everything you need to know in the pre-market. Just quickly on the YouTube versus Netflix audience aspect, it's not even close. Last public number I saw for Netflix, last time I looked, was 300 million active monthly users, paid subs.
Yep.
YouTube's over 2 billion.
Yeah, it's not
even close
no.
as far as the actual size is concerned for any of these. Just be aware, there are still some bank conference calls or earnings calls going on. I just saw this comment coming through from Wells Fargo, but there are comments coming off and on from all three of these. Citigroup here, this is not Wells Fargo, this is Citigroup. The only one that's actually looking pretty good this morning to the upside coming on the back of their earnings. WFC, BAC, both pretty ugly.
Yep, we're in the midst of bank earnings now, Brenda. Let's cover two of these. Bank of America and Wells Fargo. We'll go through them quickly. Bank of America did a lot better. It was a beat on the top and bottom line with Q4 earnings. EPS coming in at 98 pennies per share, beating the 96. Net income rose 12% year over year to more than $7.5 billion. The results reinforce Bank of America's positioning as a key beneficiary of higher rates and a resilient consumer and active capital markets. We're not going to go through line by line, but net interest income did do quite well for them, up almost 10% year over year. Wells Fargo, a bit of a different story. Neil alluded to this. They beat on EPS and they missed on revenue. They got $1.76, which topped analyst estimates of $1.66, driven by, again, higher net interest income and improved non-interest revenue. Non-interest revenue is things that they charge fees for, like wealth management, et cetera, like that. Q4 revenue, that's where it missed, Brendo. $21.29 billion. That misses the 21.64, but total revenue still expected to grow 4% year over year, even though the quarter missed.
Yeah, I was just seeing here the last comment, anyways, coming through for the CEO or from the CEO on BAC. Somebody was talking about BAC. There was on the consumer spending side as well, as you were mentioning. So it's pretty ugly. I mean, for most of these so far today, guys, as you mentioned, Goldman coming up tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we still have Goldman and Morgan to go, and kind of hope that those names can do a little bit better with the uptick in deal making and IPOs. We'll see. But given what happened to JP Morgan yesterday, because Wells missed, I think that's the one, if I have to look, none of them made the list for the note this morning. That being said, the one that I would be looking at is going to be Wells. And when you have a drop like this, that was an all-day drop in JP Morgan yesterday, what it did at the open was immediately fail the first resistance it had with a false breakout, and then it just plunged through the low of the day. Unfortunately, you know, when I look at Wells, this doesn't necessarily have that same setup. It might, because we're actually creeping up a little bit higher. 92 would be the level to watch there. A couple of minutes ago, this thing was just underneath 91, but now it's at 91.3-ish. So you could have like the false break of the high. If the first 3-minute candle is a topping tail, and then immediately you're holding back well underneath, I think that's the play, and then look for a possible trend, because Wells can get to the 50 period today that's only at 90 bucks. And again, to have missed on at least one metric, which was revenue, after what we saw with JP Morgan, want to at least be ready for that play. I don't know that it would be as weak as JP, because you did have some of that sell-off already, but it's hard to ignore that pattern. If we false break 92, I'd look for the back end of that trade, probably sometime around like 9:45. That's not a 9:30 thing. Like you want to make sure you actually are looking at a topping tail candle that's rejected that 92 breakout.
Yeah, so for me, you just went on Wells Fargo there. I'll take a look at BAC, the other name here. Look, I was nervous about JP Morgan and that $300 level, which would be down about 10% from its highs. And you're seeing the same thing right here with Bank of America. It's 58 bucks down to 53, so you're down $5 from 58. So you're almost down that 8% or so from the highs as well. And we saw yesterday, it just kept on going. Lower JP Morgan pretty much all day. So I was going to say, like, if that sort of continues, I'm just using yesterday's story as a today story, right? I mean, JP Morgan, this is, as soon as the market opened, it sold off pretty aggressively after being flat all pre-market, and the sell just basically hit the rest of the day, even continuing into today. So we might actually get that $300 level here for JP Morgan. So definitely a little bit of a problem there. And if that sort of pattern continues, then, you know, what's in line for Bank of America today? Well, that's already sort of happened. Yesterday, we do get a pullback in all the banks because of JP Morgan effect. And now you're down another 2% here for BAC. So I think you don't go long on these things until eventually you start to break some trend lines. So for me, VWAP. So you got to wait for the volume weighted average price. Let's see if that can hit. We'll give it again. Don't, as Brendan and Sharif mentioned, you know, calls going on. There's going to be some analyst re-ratings and things like that. So for me, just see, there it is. There's another tick down. It's like it was just 53.80. Now you're down into 53.30, 53.40s. And it's looking weaker here as we continue to go to the south side. So I would not try to step in here and be a hero with any of these things. They're downside. And the thing is, man, when everybody is willing to step in, that's generally speaking when stocks go the other way. All we talked about with 2026, all we heard was it's the year of the banks. And although the banks had a great year, people loved how they looked heading into the year, and no surprise that there is a little bit of a pullback happening now. So for me, down 10% seems to be close enough to a buy zone. Remember, stocks get bear territory when they're down 20%. We've seen this happen before in bank earnings, so it's just a run of the mill. Let it slow down and get going. $90 seems right for WFC, but until JP Morgan gets going, I don't even want to look at these. So I think it's a short until it proves us that we're wrong on that. So for me, banks, good quarters, obviously overall. The amount of money these guys make is absolutely disgusting. They're a great business, and sometimes you just have to go through a little bit of turmoil here as we try to figure out earnings and where they should be landing. So for me on the bank stocks, they're too dangerous. All of them heading to the south side right now. I would not be looking to do anything with any of these names until next week. Let them all report. Let's get a better feel for what's going on with the banking sector. But that's my call on WFC. And by the way, as the banks are going lower here, you can see what's happening. There goes Bitcoin right now going the other way. Bitcoin now up 1%. So it's just interesting how Bitcoin was really beat up this year in 2025. I don't want to say beat up, but didn't perform, I think, as expected. And the banks outperformed. Well, right now you're getting a little bit of a different story here as crypto going northbound when these traditional banks. And the first question, Sharif, I don't know if you saw that yesterday, the first question asked to Jamie Dimon was a stablecoin question. So, you know, the blockchain is definitely on everyone's mind these days, but there goes Bitcoin up 1%.
Clearly, we were a little warm in here this morning, so our screen behind us having a little bit of an issue right now. We're just working on getting that back up. Let's talk about China, because there's, I mean, more concerns. It gets to a point where it's like tit for tat almost daily between Trump and Xi and Nvidia, H200, and will they or won't they? Trump comes out, clears the path for them to, you know, go into China with the H200. Immediately, Xi turns around and says they're going to limit who and how many that will be available for sale.
A lot of posturing, Brendo, in anticipation of that April meetup between the two leaders. We'll have to see if it takes place and what the feelings are like between the two. But yeah, this is an important story because Chinese customs authorities have instructed their customs agents not to allow Nvidia's H200 chips into China. This is according to multiple sources. Nobody's verified this. We need to make that very clear. These are all sources. Domestic Chinese firms were explicitly told, the story broke yesterday, not to purchase the H200 unless absolutely necessary, with language described as severe enough to amount to a de facto ban for now. Officials, as I mentioned, did not clarify whether the move applies to existing orders or new purchase orders. Why is that important? Because Nvidia told us, Brendo, that Chinese firms reportedly placed orders exceeding 2 million H200 units, which is far above the estimated inventory of 700,000 that Nvidia has. Recall, Nvidia is not producing these en masse anymore. They're no longer the best chip. It's Blackwell, which is taking the majority of the Taiwan Semi's capacity. Authorities offered no formal explanation and did not confirm whether it's a permanent ban or a temporary policy lever. Analysts are suggesting Beijing may be weighing multiple objectives, obviously forcing their domestic chip champions to get going, as well as a bargaining chip ahead, as we mentioned, the April meeting between President Trump and President Xi.
Whether or not this will be anything today remains to be seen. Most likely, probably negative before it's anything positive, obviously, but we've just been chopping around here, guys, for Nvidia, but more macro headlines.
With this concern, you know, you could probably add the cyber. With this concern, you could probably add the cybersecurity headline because that's also a China headline to this. I feel like yesterday, at this time yesterday, probably said 187 should be a fade. And then didn't. So if we get up there again, and I'd say between there and I've got the line at 188.5. If we enter this channel, look for a mean reversion on Nvidia, right? If it's range bound down here and they're selling the pops, and we have some uncertainty. Well, uncertainty I'm going to consider in this place not good. The barcode off the 50-period moving average is slightly to the downside on the daily chart. That would suggest, and even everything about the chart suggests, if we do get a pop, and that's an if, I'm not sure we're going to, if we get a pop, look for that fade between 87 and 88. Maybe it's not as obvious as hopping tail candle. Maybe you get like a little consolidation up top. But whatever it is, once we get close, we've got to start looking for the turnaround here on NVIDIA. And you throw on top of this that it's not as if this was the strongest name. At the open, this was weaker than AMD and Intel, and really only got the late bump, and we gave it all back to be sitting where we are. So I just look for the same thing.
I almost put Nvidia down. The sticky note is now out. You guys can go get it at Trader TV, Sean. But at the Andre's running back. Give him a second. There he is. Yeah. So I was just gonna say, like, I almost put Nvidia as a short, and underneath every line that I look at, 200 VWAP, 50-period moving average, down 0.73. Market's starting to head a little bit lower right now. I don't get the feels. CompuCare team, actually, thank you for the donuts again, but he asked earlier about which way was I feeling, bearish or bullish, and I was kind of like question mark, bearish. Like, I'm feeling bearish today because of the setup, but at 10 o'clock, the tariffs hit. President Trump is going to be on the microphone and tweeting and truthing and all these things out today. I could see Nvidia getting, sort of bunched up with China talk if there is any tariffs related talk there. So I think Nvidia is worth leaving alone a little bit today if you're going to think about going long. I'm all about taking the short here in and around this 185, but I'm not confident on the levels. It's just, I think Sharif's note says it all, man. I was just reading it, and it says range-bound news price action, sensitive action. So I just think, like, if you're going to go back to the 8th here, which is like a week ago, this is very, like, get rid of my mug here, Andre, if you can, just so I can show this. You know, just very, very choppy here. I'll just move it like this. There you go. You can leave it, Andre. Just here. Okay, or not. There it is. So it's been pretty choppy into here. You know, so I think if you're going to wait for something, Neil just mentioned 187. I don't think it gets up there unless we have a big story. And if we do, you might not want to short it. That's my thinking. So I would just, if you're going to short, you want to probably short somewhere in the middle. This is like just a natural VWAP. Like, let's short somewhere in the middle, 185.50 or so right now. But I'm not in love with it. And let me show you something else here. A stock that is obviously being affected here by the China talk and by, you know, we talked about Quen, we talked about Deep, not Deep Mind. What's the Chinese, you talked about yesterday there, Sharif? Deep Seek. I thought it was Deep Mind there for a minute. Deep Seek, you know, this is just going to be, whether or not it's as, you know, informative and, you know, as efficient as some of the large language models that we're seeing develop here, Perplexity, Claude, all these. Alibaba's working on something. We got that Quen news. We know there's going to be chip talk here in China as well. Alibaba, obviously, when something's brewing there in China, Nvidia does have to be very worried. And it's just, it is what it is, right? The Chinese government can almost do whatever they want, similarly to the US government. So this, to me, is signaling something here with Alibaba. We did buy the dip at 160, got nervous, got out a quarter of that position at 160. So we're still in this one, but I think Alibaba's firing some signals here, telling us that maybe things in China are okay, and we don't have this whole Nvidia hangover to worry about, and that's a problem for Nvidia and a nice upside momentum play for Alibaba. So if I'm going to look long on anything, it would not be on Nvidia today. It would be over here in the space, the Chinese space, with Alibaba. And if we can get to 168, 169, that looks pretty good to me. That's your 50-period moving average. 170 key level as well. So I prefer Alibaba on the long today, and unfortunately, Nvidia a short. That's not very patriotic of me, but at the end of the day, we trade price action.
More China headlines. Unfortunately, China coming out yesterday, or early this morning, I guess it was, talking about not allowing Chinese companies in China to use US-based cybersecurity software. I mean, if you pull up any of these this morning, they're kind of just shrugging this off.
Yeah.
Don't care about it.
They're negative, but they're not as negative as one would expect, Brendo. Yes, absolutely. Chinese authorities, as you mentioned, have instructed their domestic companies to stop using cybersecurity software from roughly a dozen U.S. and Israeli firms, and they're citing national security concerns. The exact number, though, of affected Chinese companies, that still remains unclear. The worries, officials, Chinese officials, that is, are worried that the software could collect sensitive data and transmit it overseas. And the companies that could be affected here that we can speak about are VMware, Palo Alto Networks, Fortnite, also Checkpoint Software, which is an Israeli company, also affected. None of the companies nor the Chinese regulator have commented on this, by the way. But this does align, Brendo, with Beijing's broader push to kind of reduce the reliance on foreign tech across critical infrastructure. It's not just these AI chips, but obviously cybersecurity as well. And domestic Chinese cybersecurity companies could be the beneficiaries here. So if you have access to the Hang Seng or the Shanghai Exchange, something to be able to look at there.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, as far as price action goes, nothing exciting as of yet, but it could be something once we get to the market open.
Yeah, like I tried to see if I could find, like Fortinet seemed to be moving the most of the affected names, and they don't break down their revenue that granularly. So it's like 20% from APAC, which includes China. But then you sort of drawing your conclusions, like how much of that 20% of the revenue is in China? Is it like 18? Is it 10? Is it 5? I don't know, which makes it really difficult to sort of figure out how far this would be affected by it. So like I don't think I'm gonna end up trading it. I think if you came all the way back, maybe you get like a V-shape, complete V-shape recovery, and then we're sort of chilling out at about 70, like 77 and a half or so. There might be some kind of a reversion trade there, but the bounce play seemingly is already halfway happened. So I'd let this one open up and decide. What I would do if you're really interested, maybe you own one of these names, is just take a breath, have a look to see exactly how much revenue they even get from China in the first place before you start freaking out about it. The market certainly doesn't seem to be freaking about it at all. So yeah, the first step again would be to get more information on. I thought Fortinet might be a move. If that 20% was China, for sure, and it was all China, I'd be more inclined to say that I don't see why this would get back to green today. But because I don't know that, I'm just going to back off a little bit. You already have, between the chips, and we'll talk about, we got silver next. I mean, certainly that's going to be a play, and I like Bitcoin today. We already talked about Nvidia, and you've got Intel, which is making some power moves. Now, there's a lot to look at, and then we'll even talk about Netflix. I think this is more one that you will sit out and wait for a little bit more information, because I like I like the cybersecurity names. Maybe not Fortinet in general. I like some CrowdStrike, and I like Palo Alto. CrowdStrike's not moving because they're apparently not one of the ones affected by this, but it would seem to me like an opportunity in Palo Alto, but treat it like earnings. Just give it the 3-day rule. And yeah, I'd be more confident shorting Fortinet if I knew any kind of a reasonable breakdown of how much business they actually do in China, but I don't.
CrowdStrike to me, I think you take advantage of opportunities in the market that give you pullbacks in stocks that you like, okay? So shout out to Joe, hoping for a speedy recovery as he gets his knee operated on, and I don't like to tell people's business or anything, but he's talked about that on the show. So, but he'll be back in about a week or so. We'll hope for him to get better, of course. But this is a 200 period moving average, so it's not like it's been the holy grail here or anything like that. We did obviously dip underneath the summer of 24, but it's held pretty good. And ever since CrowdStrike has legitimized the business, that's been one of the winners, obviously, in this space. As I agree wholeheartedly that cybersecurity, as we get more and more, I mean, it's been the same theme. Like I don't want to say like as we get more and more concerned about foreign influences or anything like that. I mean, hacks have happened ever since the invention of time. Basically, everyone's always trying to get an edge on something. And I mean, we've seen Bitcoin hacks, or now people worried about. I mean, it was not too long ago, and I think this hasn't happened in a while. So knock on wood. But we used to have data breaches all the time. Like, oh, Target just got a data breach, and this company just got a data breach. That's stopped a little bit now. The only thing that these guys seem to be doing is screwing up their own rollouts and things like that. So let's wait to figure out what happens with CrowdStrike. But this would be the name for me, Sharif and Brendo and Neil, everybody, that I would be looking to add to. I'm in holder of Palo Alto and CrowdStrike. So talking up our own book, but I do like these names. And yeah, it's been beat up pretty good, man. You're down 20%, right? Like 560 down to 460. You're down $100 on 550. Like it's not like you're paying top dollar for some of these names right now. Before I go back though, I know we have lots to do. When we're talking about paying top dollar, I just want to see what the PE is here quickly. I'm not going to run through them all. I assume it's quite large on all of them. Yeah, CrowdStrike still 96. Yuck, that's not good. I would say Palo Alto's probably a little more underneath that. Yeah, Palo Alto 49 right now. So still pretty pricey. I think that's part of the problem here. The problem's not with the businesses, it's just with the valuation. The China story is a completely different thing, but buying a CrowdStrike or a Palo Alto is still expensive on a PE multiple. All right, something that's very expensive but that has no PE. We're going to talk about silver right now, and if you had bought it at any point over any time in your life, you're a winner. Yes. Because today silver once again is cracking through all-time highs and doing it like a boss.
It's 5 cents off the top. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, so let's go back over. Let's hear the story, and we'll come back and tell you to go long silver.
I just want to put some context on this. I had to zoom way. This is a monthly chart of silver. Oh, my God. A lot of economists, I was reading this morning, a lot of economists pointing to the 1980s, where we had a similar percentage move.
Interesting.
And then a crash going into the interest rate moves that they made back in the 80s in an effort to combat inflation. Then there was one specific Thursday, I was trying to look it up, but I ran out of time here. There was one specific Thursday where it lost half its value in one session. So this move back here to start this off. Went from $9 essentially to $48 and then back again to $14, all within the span of 4 months. So just wild, wild volatility going back to that same inflation-based trade back in the 80s. So yeah, this is where we are right now. So, I mean, obviously we're in a much, much different world than we were back then. But just to put some perspective on it, some people saying, we got to be careful here.
Yeah, well, it does feel like that, especially after having a 150% year last year, outperforming gold, and it's already up 27% at the time of the writing of this article, maybe even higher now, and clearing $90 an ounce for the first time ever. Silver contracts as well in March are trading near the spot price. So that correlation tells you that it's broad-based participation rather than a one-off spike when the futures contract is jiving with the spot. The move also reflects, though, the renewed confidence that silver prices are now high enough to overcome the persistent cost inflation at the mining level. So that is something to keep in mind as well. Highlighting, though, strong institutional as well as retail participation. So it seems to be coming from most sides, especially when you look at the ETF flows, which are suggesting momentum traders are definitely taking advantage of this. But unlike gold, Brendo, silver carries a heavy industrial demand component, which ties price action to more than just speculation.
I was just counting up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks in a row on a weekly chart for silver, guys. Back higher again today.
It is insane, and I feel like in the chat, I'm sure some people are getting silver exhaustion, but it's moving, so we got to cover it. But this is yesterday. This is 2 days ago. So at the open, like this moved in the pre-market, but at the open, this was testing pre-market lows and then ran. So it ended up being a dip, but not a dip. Essentially at 9:30, and then you had yesterday's trade, which again it dipped and ripped early, and then by 9:30 the only dip you had was very, very shallow. Like it was almost like you were joining the trend up higher here, which that's the only part of the move that you could get, and we were able to take that, but you ended up making it like the top was effectively at 950 because of how far it had run in the pre-market. Fast forward to today, and it's not quite as parabolic, but it's pretty big in the pre-market. You're basically at VWAP. So I'm thinking more of the, like that second day, which I was showing you before. Like if you were to pull back into the pre-market, like that little pre-market low, look for the long. Because it's been a pretty solid long. The range is so large that if we get down into 82, I'm going to like it. I also have this like 82.5 is another zone to potentially watch. And I guess we're not going to, just very quickly on Bitcoin, because I think we still have to.
Bitcoin's ripping.
Yeah, Bitcoin is now through 95.6 and continuing to rally. So look, it's breaking out on the daily. I think we showed you guys this. There's a breakout on the daily. IBIT, that local high is about 53.8 or so. Like these prior highs. I think from 53.5 to 58 on any dip buy, I want to join. As long as we're holding above that prior resistance, I'm going to be bullish on IBIT today.
So I have silver here. I wrote down 80 long, but I tried to explain it. I just saying you were stalking the 200 period moving average. I just want to play off some kind of support because the momentum, as Sharif, Brent, and Neil just mentioned, this thing is taking off. So I don't really know if we want to hit the top breakout level or not. So I just said, let's look at the 200 period moving average on this 1 minute chart. And, you know, I wrote down $80 long. That's how crazy this stock has moved. Like when we came in here this morning and we're starting to think about things, I'm looking at this 200 period moving average and it's at 80, it's at 81, it's at 81.50, it's at 82. So obviously as, you know, we write those things down, silver just kind of holds out and goes a little higher, and as does the moving average. So I think these are levels that Neil just sort of mentioned, like, but if we can come back into this 82, I think that's a buy, and it would not surprise me if this is a breakout. I think the problem with SLV is that I'm not sure how many, like, how can we check out what the short, like, is there a short float or anything like that on silver? Like, does anybody, because I do think, as Brendan mentioned there, you know, dropping 50% would be absolutely epic, and we'll shut the lights off here if that happens. But at the end of the day, it is parabolic, and it's going to pull back. It's just a matter, this was, man, just on the year, this thing is up 35% or more already, and it's been 2 weeks. So I don't know, man. Like, I know it's an industrial metal, and I know people are loving silver, but at the end of the day, does it have that much use case? It's a breakout. It's a super cycle for commodities. These things happen. Trade silver today. It's already done 14 million shares SLV. I'm going to look for a short ETF or something on this. Have a look at that, and then maybe play the short side in the next couple days. But for right now, man, up 6%, seems like it still wants to go. Okay, a minute left. Yeah, let's throw it back there. Quick story on Netflix, and then we're going to open this thing up.
Still in 30+% drawdown off the highs for Netflix. They come out yesterday saying they're considering at least an all-cash version of their current offer for WBD. No follow through on that though today.
No, and we don't have any information about what the price per share is going to be, how much they're going to up it. It's still the same thing. Neither company has agreed to comment, and the talks apparently remain fluid, Brenda.
Whether or not this is negotiations or something more, guys, remains to be seen. Good luck today.
Yeah, absolutely. 30 seconds to go here, and we'll see. They're actually giving up some of the gains here in Netflix. That double top from not just the close yesterday, but also at the open is going to get threatened right away, it seems, in the first little bit here. So yeah, a little bit of a dip down on Netflix. Oh, Tesla taking a dive as well with only about 10 seconds to go. The Nasdaq turning. Tesla just broke low of the day, just kind of checking out the charts. Nvidia also made a break low as we ring this bell on, oh, it's hump day. I haven't seen that now. So market is open. I was also saying Nvidia there, Nvidia dropping. Looks like that's going to take out the pre-market lows. Intel,
oh shit!
Intel's instantly dropping as well.
They immediately crushed Rivian there. I couldn't even. Oh shucks. All right, let Rivian slow down a little bit. If this comes back up to 18 bucks, we'll short it. I'm sitting here at 97. Oh man, so I written down as the #1 trade idea. I said, watch for the 18 break and end of story. But that just happens. So tough to get into something on that first open because it just rammed through on Rivian. So I'm still going to sit here at 18 and see if we can catch something on an uptick. But there it goes, man. What's up, Others Inc? Sean, get hyped. Okay, I'm trying to get hyped up right now, but that was Rivian, and we missed that one, so that's that play right there. And then Silver, Neil, obviously is going to be on our minds. I don't expect much to happen just because the market's open here. It is dropping. It is dropping nicely. Yeah, it's dropped about $1. But I was going to say it's not a stock, so I don't know if there was a market on open imbalance there. I didn't notice it, but here comes Silver back in a little bit. And the other play I wanted was Intel short, but I wanted to look at 50 bucks. So we almost got up to that as well. Now this name starting to fall back down as well. Okay, we need to get into something. There we are. We are now in first position. It's Rivian, and I don't want to get caught with my sort of, I don't know, hand in the cookie jar or whatever that saying is right here, because, oops, see, go, switch over, man. Sorry about that. There's Rivian. So we get a short there. Nice dip off the open there as we wait for tariff news. But I'm going to probably stop out at this 200 period of 1850 if it does rip against me here on Nvidia, but it was Rivian.
I don't know if I get a bounce on Nvidia for that to get
still going.
It's still going. So look, obviously it doesn't end up getting into any of the resistance levels as you can plainly see. So I got to think about maybe the first available bounce. We're still absolutely cratering. Bitcoin is not. So, okay, I don't need to be all the way. I already had a bid down for like pull back into prior high, but Bitcoin's nowhere close. So as the market breaks through lows, you're actually seeing some strength here in Bitcoin, and then silver. Silver's still tracking lower. This might actually fill the gap into 82. So trying to be patient there. It feels like if there's no pop in Nvidia.
Dude, the banks, by the way.
Oh, how?
Just because you were mentioning things going southbound there. Yeah, we talked about that. Now Wells Fargo down 4% right now. That's not nice. JP Morgan gets the bounce upside. Okay.
Wells was the one they missed.
Wells was the one. Yeah, and then there goes BAC. So is Wells Fargo issue. We did get 1 for 1, so we'll just go sirens up a little bit. We'll go bang. As we did get a little bit of a bid there. We only got out of 20% there. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Rivian. Reload or put a little bit more on 1830 or so near the high of the day if that does happen. Rivian going against me temporarily, I hope, right now as the washout was real there on Rivian. We're just going to hold tight on this trade and look to see if we can get another short, more short. We don't take a lot of shares right off the open. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, so Intel does make that move to 48, bounces clean off the 200 period. I'm going to short 49 if it comes in and use 49.20 potentially 49.40 as our out. So I'm going to short Intel if it does come back there to the upside. So that's a play that I've got my eyes on right now. Shorting Intel, staying in this Rivian trade and looking to get more short if we can get up to 18.20. That's what's going on right there. Someone in the chat, what's up, Anish? This is why you guys got to get in the chat right now. We want to say thank you to everybody who hit us up for 550,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. Keep that one going. I'm going to clean up this chart, Anish, but yeah, Google is looking lower. Nice little drop there into 332, but I got to clean up this wick so it looks a little bit better.
Also, there is Roller, which is, look, they're going into the prediction markets. That was the headline for.
They're rolling.
I'm not making this up. The name of the company is High Roller. ROLR. So I'm just going to call them Roller. They are halted right now to the downside at $14.65. Current tap is flat. Oh, it's .am. So the indicated open won't give us too much of a heads up whenever it's an AM stock on the AMEX. So halted, probably volatility, so should be open in approximately 3 or 4 minutes. All right, IBIT. IBIT just bounced off of VWAP.
Trying to come up.
Just try to get this at 16s. So I'm going to give it to like the prior high, which is about 54. But I'd like to be able to get in the teens initially. So stop is going to be in if we lose that prior high, and they'll try to do the first dip buy. And what seems like it's relatively strong in IBIT. Nvidia is trying to bounce. Well, that's more than trying to bounce. Hefty bounce here so far in Nvidia. It did this yesterday on the first initial drop, and it was like 3 green candles in a row. This is a little bit more extreme, so we'll take some patience on the back end, but if we're not shorting up here, then we gotta try it here at VWAP or prior market lows. So just gonna wait patiently for this little curl as Nvidia. I mean, heck, when the stock already drops $3, sometimes you feel like you missed the move at 9:30, and it's easy to rush into it, but this was one I wanted short, so we're gonna have it, hopefully, in just a minute or two, we'll actually get the close of this candle and see if we can open underneath.
Yeah, I like Nvidia short. That's what we were thinking about earlier as well. So good look there. All right, hit the sirens up, man. We got 76s there on Rivian. So far, so good. Are looking for a reload here at 18.20 if that does come in. All right, what else you guys want to look at? Look at IBIT right here. It made a nice move higher here for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin does get into those levels. And what level was that exactly, Sean? Good question. Here's silver on a daily. Let's just type up Bitcoin here just to get you guys spot Bitcoin on Coinbase. All right, daily. Let's go into the 1 minute chart here.
Our spot works.
Wow. Yeah, our spot works. I never call it up, unfortunately. I need to get better at doing that. It got as high as 95.8 right there. Pulling back into 95.5 right here is BTC. So 200 period on a 1 minute chart is 95,000. So that's going to be close enough to what we're doing for IBIT, $54. So watch out for that little level to come through now on Bitcoin. As it's still up that 1%. We like that one. Wow, market makes a move higher there. And then whap, right back down. It's too bad because I know you were looking. Did you didn't? Oh, man. Sorry about that, guys. Our screen is off. I'll have to get into another position there to get some more shares. INTC, it's back. Yeah, because I filled out that trade. INTC. This was the name that I wanted to go short there. And I was, again, waiting at 49 bucks. Looks like it gets some. Come on, does it really get there? 48.85. I'm at 48.95. So boo on that one. But Intel now breaking lower, looking like it wants to take out some of these lows now as well. 48 bucks just got hit there on INTC. The short is the right way here today on Intel. The long, it was my number one and number one stock the last 2 days, if I can speak properly. And we'll look to go short again on Intel, but we just missed that by 10 cents up there. I'm actually going to cancel that and work on another stock because I think this is a little too low right now. Market going lower here. I guess we're 25 minutes away from maybe tariff news.
That sounds ominous.
That's something. That beeping? I think our gate is out. I think our door's open.
Okay. No, I heard a beeping. I get paranoid anytime there's a weird beeping sound in your trading because years and years ago, we had like a battery backup, whatever. We lost power. While
Damn you,
trading.
Intel.
It was not that. The back door is open because it's hot.
Just message me.
So we got to VWAP on. I didn't get Nvidia. I'll slap the fail on that one. But we did get Wells, Vernon Wells, at 90.30, which was exactly at VWAP in front of this prior bar, which is going to end up being the stop. But immediately, it's finding. Okay, well, it was finding buyers. See this reversal candle? It was finding buyers above it, which is, to me, not a good sign because that means you're in a big-time reversion play if it's able to hold 89.60. So instead of like that buck, it was like scalped it out in the 30 to 60 cent range and might even get some more out as I speak. It does make some sense to maybe take a little bit more out here. IBIT, oh no. Oh, I didn't get filled. Okay, so I didn't get this reload on IBIT here at 54.12, but it bounces nicely off VWAP. It's back at the high of the day. I did not get that reload. You should never assume the fill, but I did assume the fill, so I'm out of all of it. I kind of assumed the fill when it came down here and was going to pick me up, but you can only really focus sometimes on one thing at a time, and I had gotten the Wells Fargo fill and was trading out of that one at the moment. So IBIT high of the day is we're through 95.8, heading toward 96,000. Bitcoin continues. If Wells holds under VWAP all day, I think it's going to be a reload short. But right now, you wipe out bottom, higher low, higher low. It's not a reload until it shows me that we're failing underneath that volume weighted average price. So far, so good there. And I will slap the fail on myself for this one. I did not pick up Nvidia. I guess a short isn't really picking it up, but I did not get in this 183 half range. Nvidia back at the low of the day. Market looking pretty weak here, everybody. If it's not Bitcoin, it doesn't seem like it's running.
Yeah, no, I'm going to, and I don't know if this is going to be right either, but we've seen a nice little move higher and now a move lower right now on PLTR. So I am sitting right here right now at one. Oh, I got to put my order log alphabetically so I can find it. We are sitting here at one. Okay, there we go. Now we're in. We are sitting here at 178 to get longer here on crypto. Man, on Palantir here, I got to have another coffee. But there it goes, man. Palantir, I just went and refilled it too, and I haven't even had a sip yet. But all right, so long Palantir down there, and the reason is like, again, we've made these lows. We've kind of ticked down to a little bit of a bottom. We're going to see if we can respect 177. If we break through 177, then we'll get out of this name, okay? We've reloaded it. We're now, whatever, 15 cents in the money, but let's see if it can go upside. We do have some big-time shares here. Not big time, but we have enough to celebrate it. If it wants to go up, we'll offer 50s. We just missed 60s, and then we'll put something in the 80s, and hopefully we're able to get that. But here we go. We're going to average it into 177.50, and then here's our break, 176. Honestly, let's go to 176.89 or so. So a little bit of a break there of 177. We'll get a piece out. We'll try to get 10% out if we can get something at 50. Here we go. See, we just rejected it. Now we start going back down into the downside. So we'll sit on this Palantir. Rivian is working, but not really doing anything. We're looking to get some action here in case the market does want to do this dance. And right now it's dancing for sure, but sticking near the low end right now. We do have super chat I just heard in my ear.
Couple,
okay, well, let's go.
Here from Adam Jones. Check out Northern.
What's up, Adam Jones?
Northern Graphite Corp.
Mike
It started with N and had a G, and I was about to say Northrop Grumman. You always look at things. It's weird. That's how the brain works. This one's on the OTC, everybody. I think we have Jeff today.
Maybe, yeah.
You think he's? Yeah, we might.
Well, he's in the afternoon anyways.
He'd be in the afternoon anyways. That's a penny stock breakout. Now, we cannot trade these. I can tell you right now, Real Trading, if it is 20 cents and doing no volume, then it would not be on the list of names that we can trade. But yeah, this looks like it's pretty good. Graphite, look, its materials are going to be the jam right now. I'm a believer in this rally. I think it's got legs, or I wouldn't have picked FCX. And I think there's all kinds of, whether it's metals, whether it's materials, I think that's going to be a good play for this year. But this is not going to be a tradable stock. But thank you, Adam, for the shout out. I think we do need to pay attention to more names. And another one right here, Shaned, watch RLR for the short of the day. This was halted to the, well, not anymore. It did halt down. It did halt down, and now it's halted up. So yeah, my guess is you're probably going to be stuck with a bunch of halts on this thing. So good luck. You're short at 17. Well, it already gave you a halt down at 1466, but the first move was to bounce and then halt up here at 1643. So be very careful with this name. That is absolutely nasty. High roller is going to be a big-time mover today, but I'll be staying away from that as we're in some. Will's had us in another one. Today I feel like a gap fill day. Get to the chopper.
You got to get to the chopper.
That means evacuate for anyone that's never seen Predator. Predator is a vastly underrated film, and it's got one of its.
Have they redone that?
Best. They should redo that.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not sure if they have.
It's got the best handshake in movie history. It's the one.
I don't even know that one. I'll have to rewatch.
Carl Weathers, when Carl Weathers meets Schwarzenegger for the first time, well, they see each other and they do that iconic, like they do this and they start like arm wrestling in air, and they're both jacked up. And
I don't even recall that. So
rest
that's
in peace, Carl Weathers.
I'd definitely like to check that out a little bit as well. So yeah, man, we got to stop it fail because down goes Palantir. We tried it at 177. And yeah, just down. Let's leave this thing alone right now. There goes Palantir to the downside. I do want to take a bid on it if it can get going again, but maybe not until we break 178. Like, it's got to turn around, right? Just to sit there and trade that seems a little nuts. We did got another fill on Rivian. What I still want to stick with what we're talking about here, and that's Intel short, honestly. Like, Palantir is really starting to crack now, 176.50. Intel, just to the downside, if I check some charts out here, we did bounce off that 47.50. I was actually thinking that was going to be a short level if we wound up breaking that. And if you see yesterday, 47.50, not really meaning anything. It was that little break there. So I thought if we could break, then maybe we get to 47, and then that's when we could think about dip buying something on Intel. But you are making a move back up to $48. So this is another decent opportunity against the 200 period moving average. So let me go a little short here at 80. I just put an 86 so I can get the rebates. So there it goes. So we get filled on 86. I never like to sit and punch this way if I can get something off here. So with the volume moving around, we do get short 86s. It might not be no good. Who knows? But Neil and I, when we say about bidding and offering, like if I sit here on a gateway, like if I go to 47, let's just say 95 right now and pend, my order goes pending, I'll actually get a rebate for getting filled there. So we don't go in and out. Okay, so now we're starting to get kicked up here on our good friend Intel, and it does bounce quite nicely off that 47 and change. So now we got a little bit of a problem here as Intel's going against us back up there to the upside. So it's a good thing we didn't put on a whole bunch of shares, but we do not want to give back what we'd already made over the last couple of days on Intel. So there it is, man. We should have just shorted that 48 and change. Let's go a little more short on this upside here. We just touched the 200 period. Looking to maybe stop out on a 48.50 or so break higher. I think that's reasonable for us. So 48.50 is the stop here for Intel. I'd hate to go negative again on all these names, but it may happen. Nice tick down there for Rivian as well.
Yeah, nice. Rivian's going down to the lows. The market's at the lows. I want to go over to Tesla in a quick second because I know we're going to talk about what we're trading, but Tesla down 1.7 and trending right back in to break the lows of the day here at 439-ish. So look, this is across the board. If you're not looking at Bitcoin, it's probably not going up. Wells is trying to get back into the low of the day. I have a bid down at 88.7, trying to grab the low. Did not reload at VWAP. It'll obviously end up being the wrong decision, but you know, that kind of is what it is. And IBIT, well, if there's no dip into VWAP again, we'll have to figure out a different plan for a second trade in IBIT. But it's pretty simple. I'm just going to look to follow the trend to the upside. I don't really have a trend yet because I got 2 points. There has not been a third dip buy to be able to get into it. And then the other name we thought we were going to be looking at more, and maybe people were trading silver in Blue Ocean.
Oh yeah, silver.
Well, because I accidentally just typed up Blue Ocean. What the heck? You could, man, people probably are making money on this. Look how clean this breakout is. This is last night. Look how clean that break is. Look how clean that trend break.
All came back in.
No, seriously, silver is pulling back as we speak. Didn't get all the way into the prior low in the pre-market at that 82, but it's still trending down into that level. So if we get down a little bit further, that's where I'd try the bounce. If it starts making higher lows, I might join in that regard, but we're expecting a bit of a dip and rip scenario in silver. I just don't want to be too early to the curl. So banks obviously to the downside we saw with JP Morgan yesterday. We're sort of seeing that again with Wells. And I keep asking in the chat, is something running that is not crypto? Because if it is, I'm not seeing it. What the heck, Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's Rip City.
We're at, spots at 96.5.
Yes.
And we're just chilling out at almost 55. At some point, this gets a little bit out of hand. Wow. I mean, great if you picked a Bitcoin as your pay of the year. I know I didn't, so.
I was going to, yeah, I still don't. I don't don't love it on the year, but I think it's a good play. Yeah, we said that we would try to wait for a bottom there and, you know, to try to sit there and pick it up at 176.50. I don't know if that's going to be the bottom or not. I mean, I thought 175.50, 177.50, sorry, was going to be that as well, but it is a downside play happening for us right now on PLTR. All right, man, the Nasdaq trying to go lower right now. And, you know, yesterday's big runner was AMD and Intel. I chose Intel to go short here today, but it would be nice if the whole space started to go to the downside, as there we go. We are now in again here. And I could take profits. It keeps on bouncing off 80s. I think maybe now we're short at 90. Let me put 10% down, a little bit less. Let's put a little less than that down there at 80, just in case that does happen again. We'll sit right exactly at, well, I'm at 81, so hopefully that will fill us out because we're going to stop out, man, if this breaks 48.50. So that's definitely a possibility here for Intel. It's not squeezing to the downside like I thought it would. I mean, initially that move happened and we had written down 50, not 49. I wish we had thought about 49 because we'd probably be short already up there, but that's what's working out right now. Rivian is having a hell of a time breaking through 70s here. So I'm on the bid at 71. I can't believe I'm not getting filled. It's literally printing 72s and 73s right now and nothing else. So Rivian on my mind now too. I might just put a bid right in here. Okay, here, okay, there, we got 71s. Okay, so there it goes. I did not put a bid there. It just filled me. And now I'm bidding 60s, but I'm gonna put another bid now and just see if we can cover this out there. I'm bidding 72s. All right, well, I joined at Jex there. Hopefully we get that.
I gotta throw this up.
Go. I'm just
this
rambling.
comment here. Jay Walken. I do a Christopher Walken impression, but I can't do one, or I would be doing it right now. Just imagine that I would.
There goes Intel. Yeah.
This market makes 0 sense in the mood swings from day to day. Feel like I'm trading with my, I didn't read the whole thing, with my ex-wife. It's actually.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Look, especially in the first, okay, we're now into like the second 15-minute bar, but especially in the first couple of wicks, it is insane. And the bigger the wick down, in terms of like that 930 candle, sometimes the more absurd the second one is. Like I wanted short on the pop in Nvidia and was watching it, it was pressing back up like $2, looking like it was gonna come all the way back into this pre-market low, and then I blink and the stock drops $1 on me. And I completely whiff on trying to get into that short because once it was kind of a little bit obvious, maybe obvious is the wrong word, once I was sure that it was a short, it's gone.
Oh.
What you can do is just wait for things to tighten up if that's your style. You know, there's nothing wrong with sitting it out at first and then waiting for a little bit more of a pattern. Like I got lucky, the difference was Wells Fargo did come all the way back, so I was able to get the short where I wanted it, where Nvidia didn't. Like that's just, I was waiting for a pullback into one of these two, one of them happened to hit. And so you get really fortunate that it's entirely possible Wells doesn't get up there, and then I don't even have a short trade. I think we're going to Adara at the desk. Oh, and keep in mind, we might get that Supreme Court thing in 9 minutes.
We might get the Supreme Court decision. Last time we found out about the decision, or lack of decision rather, around 10 a.m., so I'll be keeping my eyes peeled at that point. In the meantime, I want to talk to you guys here about comments from Fed's Paulson. She's the first Fed to speak today. We have quite a few from 9:50 a.m., so right now, all the way to 2:10 p.m. Fed's Paulson talking about how not everyone's doing great in the economy currently in the U.S., but that she's, quote, cautiously optimistic that inflation could move back to target. She, in fact, even says that they could potentially get roughly 2% run rate for inflation by the end of the year. So again, comments coming from Fed's Paulson, nothing super groundbreaking, but just be aware she is speaking, and she is not the only one from the Federal Reserve doing so today. Back to you.
All right, here we go, man. Yeah, thanks, Adara. A lot of money being made there on the Rivian short. I hope you guys joined me on this one. It is, and I just put it up on the board here. It is the number, I mean, this is back-to-back days, man, where we've had big-time #1 trade ideas. There's the Rivian short. Wait for, watch that $18 break level. That cracks. It flushes. It flushes to where, Neil? 1750. So that's exactly what had just happened. It's at 1750 right now. We take a couple 1750 bids, and now we are not very light. We have about a quarter left. I'm actually going to take advantage of that because we get I'm going to bid, I was going to bid, I'm punching some 63s now. I'm bidding 61s. We got to get out when levels are hit. So there it is, level hit right there. Okay, talk about levels getting hit. Look what the hell just happened to Intel. We were getting out there at 70. And then this rip just happened. So here goes Intel, trying to rip my face off, actually. Back now to the upside goes INTC. So we're short here at 48.10s. Not a great position for me, but I don't know. This name's starting to go hard to the upside. Intel was not expecting that. A pure momentum play over the last couple of days. Watch out for 48.50. If that breaks, I think we should step aside.
Yeah, and sometimes you've got to.
Throw my mouse.
Oh my goodness, MP. So shout out to everyone that's mentioned here. We were talking about materials earlier. Look at MP. That is a huge reversal. This is why it's tricky when you miss that initial short. I was just talking about how we picked one up and didn't get the other. Well, this is why you're cautious with it. Because if you liked MP short today, it comes into VWAP, maybe you try to get in here early and then it just rips your face off. I think that's the cautionary tale that you have to have. Like, just because you like an idea or you want to short the pop, like, don't let it run you over.
Here we go.
Well, I'm now at the point where I want to look for the reload here at VWAP on WFC. I am going to move my stop. It goes from, in here at 90.5 to, I'll probably put it somewhere in the 90, just above the $90 level. So if we get a reload, it's going to be underneath the volume weighted average price here on Wells Fargo. The only reason to have picked Wells was they missed on revenue. So, all the banks are going down, but at least these guys actually had a bad metric. Everyone else seemed to have really good numbers if you're real about it. IBIT continues to be ridiculous and is absolutely gonzo. So it has been a pretty, not exciting last couple of months for Bitcoin, but this is a pretty decent break. This is why we like the long today. Prior resistance turns into support, and now we're gone. Almost at 97,000 on IBIT. You know that some of these other names like MSTR and MAR, moving, I'll show you MSTR, very similar breakout. And guess what? MSTR is finally doing an outsized move. So it's up 10%. The last time we had a bounce, I feel like it was moving as much as Bitcoin. This is what you actually want to see, which is an outsized move over here on MSTR. I'm not sure how parabolic it'll last, but congratulations for now, at least. And our high roller stock, which of course is ROLR, after the up halt, put in another down halt and is now back in. So that super chat about shorting it at 17 looks like it's still good. But again, it's halted like 3 times already, and it's only 9.55, so just be a little bit careful with that one. I'm not bidding at the low anymore on Wells. I just want to see another bottoming tail candle, and if I do, that'll be a reason to get out off of this low. Otherwise, I'm just holding, because I haven't reloaded this just yet. Banks in the tank, futures in the tank.
Well, I like that. Banks in the tanks.
Oh, that was a complete...
that was a good one. Yeah, JP Morgan battling back a little bit. I just want to say I am not super happy about this Intel trade. It's doing a lot of volume. It's trying to price discover right now. It's just going back and forth. It's not great. I'm hearing some echo in my ear, Andre. I don't know what that is, but it's not the greatest. Okay, so now it's making a move back. Is it a Dares mic live, maybe? I don't know what it is. You can check it out, Andre. But there, I think it's fixed. Whatever you just did there. Might have solved that problem.
No, I flashed my thing on and off.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds better now. But yeah, Intel is just trying to figure itself out, and it doesn't look good, man. It keeps on bouncing off this 200 period moving average. So we'll take a couple outs for flat. We were short at 48.16 was our average price. So I actually took 48.16s a couple times there as we get lighter, because here it goes, man. 48.50, I'm going to get a 75% of this trade. It's moving against what I thought. So there goes Intel back there to the upside. Rivian, our best idea, is working out, but it looks like Intel, there it goes, it's going to break, is going to break this 50 area, and when it does, then we will stop out of 75% and just hold on to a little piece to see, because I still want to stay in the short, just because we get taken out of it. This is what day trading is about. Someone asked us earlier about what the trials and tribulations or whatever with day trading are. This is it. Like, you're not going to make every single call exactly right, and then you're going to get frustrated when you get stopped out, because you may still like the play. And I've been bad at averaging in and staying with the same stock. So I'll stay with Intel, but I'm going to give it some love back up here. All right, I'm not, if it stops out now, it stops out now. We'll take a 30-cent hit. Well within our purview there. Here it goes. It's going to break now anyways. Okay, so BMNR, just looking at, what potentially Ethereum's doing, as we just saw an epic rise there in crypto today. BMNR, same type of ways, up 6% right there. And this is, of course, the Ethereum play. And that one kicks it off to those highs again one more time. As there it goes, Intel breaks through. So we do have to slap a little bit of a fail on that trade. We'll see if it can come back in, though, for us at some point. Maybe the market has found a bottom. Palantir, though, no. low. I mean, we didn't want to get back into this one. We had said that's going lower here as well. So yeah, so there's the break. We got stopped out a little bit there of Intel. I don't know if that was the high or not, but we're going to wait. We're still in 25% of this trade, giving it a little bit of room. So if it does pull back, good for us on that one. I don't know if we're in the wrong stocks.
You just reminded me, I'm paying for location.
BMNR, yeah.
The way that's moving to the upside,
was.
I just feel like if there's any kind of reversion,
Tesla,
that's going to be one to be had. And I might have already missed. I just saw Bitcoin do this for the first available pullback. You're off of 55 and the 97,000 level, so there's a bit of a dip. I might have already missed it, but if there's another salvo to
Tesla
the upside,
down.
I might take that curl in
First of
PNR
all,
if we get it. Silver is finally looking like it's catching. There's a rounded bottom. I'd like us to break VWAP. I don't want to be long here. I made this mistake the other day on, I think it was Walmart, where I was long on a trend break in here, right tight to the volume weighted average price, got myself shaken out, and then it proceeded to hold over VWAP and then really break out later. So I think patience is going to be a virtue. Right now the market is weak and continuing to fall, so I want to reload the short if we get any pop in Wells Fargo as a priority. That did hit the low of the day, and just be patient with the silver long until it looks stronger. So I did get that. It was a bottoming tail. I said I'd wait to see how it tested that higher low. It kind of wicked it, so I did take some more out. I'll let this one break the low of the day. Don't have a target in mind on the daily outside of the even dollar at 88, which is this low here in December. Let's go to Adara at the desk. It's already 10 o'clock.
number time.
We have some numbers as well, in addition to potentially the Supreme Court decision on tariffs. Again, that's a big if, but existing home sales also coming out right at 10 a.m. Coming out a little bit early, actually, just arrived, a little bit higher than expected. 4.35 million versus 4.22 million forecast. Excuse me, it's also above the previous print of 4.13 million. Existing home sales change higher than expected, 5.1% versus 2.18% estimate. And U.S. business inventories, 0.3% above estimates of 0.1%. So once again here, higher economic numbers across the board for existing home sales change, and business inventories on a month-over-month basis. Now at 10 a.m., in addition to potentially getting this tariff opinion from the Supreme Court, we're also getting comments from Fed's Myron, so definitely keep an eye on those. I'll be watching out for those. Market, though, right now just trying to bounce off of low of day. Lots of different catalysts on watch, including obviously ongoing geopolitical tensions with Greenland and Denmark coming back into the picture as well this morning, as well as potentially this tariff resolution. Silver going to be on watch here with those tensions in mind. We know that this does tend to be a bit of a safe haven play. And SLV making new all-time highs once again. Let's talk here about Citigroup. This bank continuing to make new day's lows. Not faring too well here after Q4 earnings. Adjusted EPS beating estimates, but sales falling below expectations, at least on an adjusted basis, thanks to a previously acknowledged loss that they had to take. Before we send you back to the guys, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics. Millions of concussions, zero approved therapies. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is advancing a new standard with its intranasal, brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With an $8.9 billion market on the horizon, Origenics is positioned to drive what comes next. See what's ahead. Book a meeting today. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Funny, thank you, Adair, because I told that story about CompuCare team asked me right away at 8 o'clock, and I said bearish. And I'm obviously the only two shorts we're in right now are Intel and Rivian. And Rivian's the trade of the day for me. I mean, that was a short right there, $18 all the way down, now $17.50, making new lows right there for Rivian. So we'll say that was a good idea. But getting stopped out at literally the high of this move for Intel was not a good idea. So once we realized that we might have made the high right there, we did get back in. And then we just covered a little bit there at 48, like 48.15s, 48 flat. So we're still going to be red on Intel today, but at least we're able to get a little bit back into that. Now we'll wait for a 48 break. I'm bidding 48.07. We just got part filled there. If that comes back in, that's my next fill. Then I'm at 47.90, and then we'll see about a lower take here on INTC. We do have a bunch of super chats in there right now, but let's just quickly, I just want to review those numbers that just came out. So we did now just get existing home sales a little higher there. So that's not a bad situation. I mean, people are worried a little bit about the housing market. So if home sales are higher, people out there buying, not a bad thing. But I don't know, it's not enough of a needle mover here for the Fed, I wouldn't think. It's 95% chance. So nice to see that about there it is. Now we get our 07s right there. So we say, oh, Canada. And we'll go a little shorter right now on the market. I don't know if you're, what's Bitcoin, are you, what position? I can't tell what position
I'm out of
you're
the
in.
long in Bitcoin. I'm still short Wells Fargo. But Best Bruin has 2 super chats, and they're both about Landbridge. So thank you to Best Bruin. I'll just throw up the second one in here. Appreciate the super chat. And we've got a bunch more. Thoughts on LB? What a turn. I mean, there's trend breaks. Someone asked me about like trend breaks and how do you draw trend lines. My first rule is it has to be incredibly obvious or don't draw it. Well, that's incredibly obvious. There was a trend break 4 days ago, and you're right at the 50. So ring the Reggie. I mean, somewhere up here, you'd usually expect to turn the 50 or the 200. So that's either 58 to 60 or where we are right now on Landbridge. Very light volume. This is obviously a swing, not a day trade. I think if you're asking about it, you obviously know that. You would never day trade the stock. It doesn't make any sense. You could take the opening print and the close print, I guess, would be one way to play it. And then we have one from Alberta. Is this right? Alberta Gloater. I scalped mRNA this morning. Does it look like a decent setup on the weekly chart for a swing over 40? So when I'm using my weekly, I'm just going to go over to e-signal here because I'm already on a weekly chart. So mRNA, every time this gets brought up, I'm like, yeah, those pandemic buys that you had that were so good. And I'm just reminded about, what's that called again? MindMed. So this does look good on the weekly. And I'll just zoom it in so you can see a little bit better. Like, look at this breakout. I mean, you're obviously chasing it a little bit, but in context, there's room to about 45 here. So it doesn't say where you're in. Oh, you're starting it at 40? It's a little bit of a chase. I mean, are you risking 40%? Because that's where the support is, all the way down here at about $28 to $30 for the support level for this break. So it's a bit of a chase. I'd say the same thing I said about Alibaba. Like at that price, if I'm chasing the move, what I think is a legit break, just take less because you might have to give it a little bit more room. But it does look pretty good on that daily.
You gotta watch out because no one saw that, unfortunately, because the thing was blocked. Look, see?
Oh, you know what?
So you're analyzing it there. Shoot. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's
I would have told you earlier. I didn't notice. Someone in the chat.
Yeah,
did.
so you guys missed all that. Your support is down here. I'm just looking at my own screen. The support is down here in the 28 to 30 range. So you're chasing the breakout a little bit. So maybe just give it more room is the best way to think about it. And the big shout out to, by the way, on e-signal, you can trade through e-signal. You got level at Tesla up right now, but you have level 1, level 2 data out there. Not to make it an e-signal ad, but.
I wonder if the market, everyone's pretty negative right now. I wonder if how much
we're tanking.
Yeah, but I'm saying like based on nothing really. Those are some good numbers today. I was just going to say, I wonder if it's because we are potentially, I mean, Adara's over there scanning everything. If we do hear a response to tariffs, we will get that to you
Just saw it. Looks like they did release a ruling that was not on tariffs. So as of right now, it looks like we don't have anything once again.
Well,
then. The thing that when they have these, they have a bunch of other rulings they do. So my guess is they keep you waiting, because obviously.
I guess so. Yeah, Wells. Oh, you know what we can do is check.
Talking about Wells conference call.
Yeah, let's just see. I want to see J.P. Morgan, then we'll go over to the ones that are moving around. So J.P. Morgan does have a nice high of 312 there, gets right into the pre-market, and then drops off there right around 945. That started to go lower as well. I'm going to imagine, as Neil just mentioned, Wells Fargo, the talk is now on. We did mention, again, getting out of some of the banks ahead of earnings. So I hope some of you took that advice, not financial advice, of course, just something I was talking about. There's WFC down 5% there. Citigroup as well came through with earnings. They were a little bit more to the upside, no. Okay, so yeah, during the pre-market again, Citigroup goes high, then the market opens up and it goes low. So bank stocks not appreciating this earning cycle rate
Netflix?
Now. And I did see Netflix is down to $89, right?
What?
So they do not like the cash offer apparently, but this is looking like it wants to break through right now.
What do they like?
So I don't know what they will like, but I don't know what I like on Netflix now. We're not really watching anything, so maybe that's part of the problem.
There's a line in Chris Tucker's
89.50.
back when he was in Def
89.50.
Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
And he just opens up his bit. He just goes, pissed off, man. And that's what I feel about this move on Netflix.
That's what you are?
No, I kind of felt like this. It seemed like this was the piece of news that would get this thing off the schneid. And then to have this, look at this ridiculously bad chart. That's horror awful. Netflix, you deserve to be in the gates of hell.
Yes, you do.
For this reaction to what I thought would be good news. No, that's nasty. That sucks. So it is what it is. I guess we are still waiting for 83.
We reloaded, yeah. That's coming in, man. I think you should want to put your bids out. Stat.
No, I still have the one.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought I would be moving it up today.
Might hit
I legitimately thought I would have been moving it.
Well, 83 won't hit today.
No, it's not hitting.
But I think 85.
If
I
we
don't know.
hit that,
Who knows? I'm in it, so I hope
problems. We got other problems.
I hope we have less problems. Okay, we just said that we were reloaded, so we got another one right now. We're going to get out some more bids. We're actually going to be positive. I mean, if I got it all out right now, we would be close to positive on Intel. That comment was more if we were sub 48.10 because we just were. So I'm going to reload that thing just a little bit right there at 40s, and then it just made a fall back into some levels there. That is Intel. Let's go over and have a look at Tesla right now, a name that, again, moves with news. And today we had the full self-drive news, and we weren't sure what that meant for the stock. Looks like FSD will no longer be will no longer be available for purchase outright. You're gonna have, if you haven't already, and you want to buy it for 10, 11 grand, you can go ahead and do that, I think, today. But pretty soon they're going to be removing that option and just charging you the $100 a month, which, I don't know. I think that Elon should take the 10 grand if someone wants to pay him that, but that's going to be gone. So software as a service now is FSD, and that's good. I don't mind that. I think for $100 a month, we talked about turning your car, if you did have software version 4, you could, or hardware version 4, you could turn your car into a robo-taxi potentially at some point. So that's what the FSD is looking at there. And yeah, there comes the move back in on the market. Here comes
for you. Because
yeah, but I've thought about it. I'm not letting anybody in my car.
I'm sort of thinking about it from the lines of like because you come into downtown, so
yeah,
you could like just zip around the core taking people while you're.
I thought about that, but then I thought to myself, like, I don't really want anybody in my car.
Oh, that's yeah.
But it is a revenue source. I mean, that's something exciting. But we did talk about that, and I think before I got the Tesla, I was like, yeah, I'd let people. I let the car run around for me, but nah, I like it. I don't know.
I could. The reason I was sort of saying that is like if it's your second vehicle that for the family doesn't get used as much.
Yeah, if it just sits in the yeah.
My second car just goes from my house to the train station, and then I'll just every now and then I'm like, yeah, when I take my daughter to sports, I'll
guys,
take this.
Yes, yeah, that's what we do with my car. It's literally just a commuter car. Right now. Okay, let's effing go right now. Come on. Let's go as we get bearish there on Intel. So we're actually going to go 2 for 2 on our note today. The only one that we lost on was the trade of Palantir, where we got a little slippery on that one. And it's not that we didn't slip up. It's just that slid down, and yeah, it got down to 174, 175. Wow, a destructed stock there today is Palantir, down 1.5%. If there's anything, did I get that, Phil? Yes, I did on Intel. We got 91s there. Okay, if anything, if there was a stock that I need to not rebuy, but I would buy on dips, and we've missed it already. It's up $2 from the low, but Google's been one of the strongest names, man. So on any kind of weakness, I think we should support this stock. So yeah, if we can get back into 330 there. And remember, we are still waiting. I mean, Derek did a great job there of giving us some information on the tariffs, but there goes Rivian, man. And again, like if you're joining us for the first time, you may not have heard about the sticky note. If you're joining us for any more than the first time, you probably have. Talk about this every single day. This is released between 8 and 8:30 every single day. There it is, man. It's Rivian. It's your #1 trade today on the note. And I said 1875. We didn't even come close to anywhere near there, so we had to short right there what we wrote down, $18. So once $18 broke, that gave me the okay to get in there and short it. And we said maybe we flush to 1750. Supreme Court does not. There, I just got it in my ear. Yeah. Supreme Court is not ruling today on the tariffs. So that's a boo. So we say boo to that one. I don't.
Spiked.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm going to cover just a little bit more here on Intel, and then wait for some more intel on that story. But we do. I'm
no longer going to believe that we're actually getting a decision until it's rendered. This is twice now.
Yeah, maybe the decision is going to be against President Trump, and they are a little nervous of doing that. I don't know. Spitballing right here. Yeah. All right, Adara's got some business to handle, and then we'll come right back.
Take a moment to thank our friends at Funded Futures Network. Let me ask you this. If someone handed you $1.25 million to trade, would your process change? or just your upside. That's the opportunity that Funded Futures Network provides. They're a prop firm that gives traders access to large sim and live funded accounts every day. They've already paid millions to traders around the world with fast same-day and daily payouts. And right now, Valuation's accounts are 50% off. Buy one, get one free with no activation fees. You can find the link below or scan the QR code to check it out. Thanks again to Funded Futures Network.
Yeah, this is getting silly. And I know obviously everyone was sort of waiting for that ruling, but there is a notable spike happening both in the Nasdaq. I mean, silver, it's not 3 points on a trend line, but I'll look to see if it closes above this. I'm probably going to end up going into the long. Look at the reversal that you see right now on this bad boy. So we are going back into the upside. Silver was one of the names I like long, so this is what I will go to. My goodness, Tesla. Okay, yeah, sure. Why wouldn't Tesla do this? V-shape and breakout here on Tesla. Do have to monitor the short for sure, because we're starting to come back into VWAP on Wells Fargo. I've only got it the first time. But if we break VWAP, this is also going to be a trend break. So I got to move my stop, probably give it to this prior bar here. So first things first, always move the stop. And if we get a reload off VWAP, fine. But sometimes when you get a trend break that corresponds with quote-unquote news, and in this case, the lack of news, you don't want to fight it. If we confirm this downtrend one more time, I'll try to get that reload. But it is silver and Bitcoin that are absolutely ham. Bitcoin didn't even dip very far. That's just annoying. So silver hasn't given me reason to get long yet because we're not holding the volume-weighted average price. And BTC, we're back testing 97,000 as IBIT just retakes 55. Yeah, the dip. I thought we'd go a little bit further on that dip. So we've only traded 2 names today and like to get into silver as the third, but it's just not doing enough of what I want to see on this bounce.
So I've been covering, we have a new position right now, and it's going to be a bad one because it's Palantir. I can't seem to make any money on this name, but we're going to go short here. Palantir goes all the way back to the 200 period. I was just going to give it, you know what, now that I see this, we could give it to 179, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait and give it to like 179.50 or so. Oh, sorry, 170, yes, please, Randy. 178.60 break. We're going to get out of that one, but there it is. The short is now on Palantir. We just got filled. So let's start to cover this. If it does dip down just a little bit here to the downside, but we did have a movement. Broadcom's, okay, there it is. Yes, sir, Palantir. Come on, PLTR. Let's see if that drops down, but we do have good opportunities here to make a little bit of cash. So let's wait to see if we can make some money back here on Palantir if it gets to the downside. Short at 178.40s. We just took a fill there at 15s, giving us that 1-to-1. We're stopping out at 178.60 break. And if that happens, that happens. But a nice move from VWAP all the way back on this market. So I guess they're okay with President Trump. The tariffs not being announced, so that's fine. Let's see what winds up happening right now with Palantir. I'm going to put another bid down here. Seems to be bouncing around a little bit. I just haven't traded this one well over the last couple of days, waiting for too big of moves. So maybe it is a scalp setup right here. We won't make that much back, but if we do get filled, we're starting to chip away here. And that's the right way to look at trades, right? You don't... Like I went back into it because it's set up. It came up to the 200 period moving average. I like the trade. I chose to short it instead of the futures. So there we go. Shorting on Palantir, short on Intel, short on Rivian. I mean, all my eggs are in one basket here. So let's start to cover as we get these moves down.
It's as if somebody puts eggs in more than one basket.
It depends if it's Easter.
Unless you're Sharif, then you don't have enough eggs.
If you're Sharif, the chickens are running away from you as fast as possible.
In the same basket. It's a weird saying. I get it. And it makes perfect sense from a trading standpoint. It's just a weird saying. I don't even understand.
Well, it must come from the olden days when if you're carrying the eggs and you're responsible for a dozen eggs and you drop said basket.
The context obviously gets a little bit lost. Yeah. So look, Wells doesn't get to VWAP, but Nvidia did. So that was the other name that I liked short. So it bounced VWAP once, and now we're bouncing VWAP. Bouncing underneath VWAP, I should say, again. But it immediately, see this prior bar here, so there's your push into VWAP. This prior bar high immediately catches a bid. It's about 35 cents. So I'll probably reload this one as long as VWAP holds, looking for that push back in. For now, the shorts are going to look like the way to go as long as, see this, the Qs go right into the volume-weighted average price. If they roll over here, then we're just going to have some structure for the short. And if we don't, I got to start thinking about where I like a long because, shoot, like IBIT's so far gone that my mind is thinking, where's the turnaround going to be? So I'm also watching BMNR Because see how IBIT continues to break highs? BM&R is not. I know it's an ETH thing, but I like the fact that it's differentiated. So if you get a turn in crypto, I'm pretty sure this one's going to be good. There just hasn't been a turn yet. So I don't want to force it at all. Like the money right now has been in patience. Like the opening flush, if you manage to catch a reversion off the bottom, congratulations. But I think we got another one coming in here, potentially back into the lows. Like if the Nasdaq even pulls back a little bit, I feel like Nvidia should get to the lows as well. And commodity K, ETH moves better, does it?
Dude, Intel is.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which crypto we want to look at right now, but oh my
I'd say IBIT.
gosh. What? Thank you so much, Randy. What a trade right there, honestly, guys. This Intel, we stuck with our guns here, and yeah, we came out blazing right there, like just absolutely on Intel, man. We believed in the trade. We did get stopped out. We put it back on. We put it back on again, and there goes Intel into the lows of the day again. So it's a big trade for your boy right there. And I told you, like the only stock that we're red on, well, we're gonna go 2 for 3 is gonna be, there it is, man. So we didn't make or lose any money on this trade right here for Palantir. Rivian has been a great short, Randy. It was my #1 trade on the sticky note there today, so sorry to tell you that, but Rivian continues to go lower right there. Yeah, it's it's better than you think. If you want to
buy the dip, it's good.
It's better than you think, Randy. It's really good. So there goes Rivian to the downside. We'll leave Palantir alone, but yeah, it's Rivian downside. And again, just it's the same thing. Follow me at Trader TV, Sean. I'll put this up right there. The top 2 stocks today for me, Rivian and Intel, both shorts and both absolutely cashing in. It was the problem today for me is Alex Karp and company. We do have small cap recap with Adara, and maybe we should short the futures right now as it's bouncing around that 25.70 area. Okay, Adara, when you are ready, are we ready, Andre? We are. Then let's go over and find out what's going on in small cap land.
Let's start here with a name that has certainly rallied in the past, IBP, Inspire Veterinary Partners. No news on this one from today, but this penny stock currently trading around 25 cents. Did have a catalyst on Friday. They filed a certificate of amendment to increase its authorized Class A common stock from 100 million to 700 million shares. So again, penny stock with a catalyst from a couple days ago about increasing its float. Here's SEGG. This is lottery.com. That's SEGG. I could not find any news on this, but both the float and the market cap for this name just under 5 million. So roughly $4.8 million market cap and then 4.5 million share float. Last but not least, ROLR. This has been, I think, the biggest small cap we've been discussing today. High Roller Technologies. Partnering here, a couple buzzwords, partnering with Crypto.com for a prediction market related catalyst. They're going to be making, I guess, event-based prediction markets here in partnership with Crypto.com. Nice look here for ROLR, though it is well below its pre-market high still. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back over for more trading action with Sean and Neil.
Thank you very much there, Adara. I see that EVTV is going as well. There's also a THH, or whatever the heck that is. Try Hard Holdings. Oh, that's hilarious.
Hey, yeah, that's a good name.
Well, you don't want a stock that's a try hard. That's for sure. Tryhards are good in football, and that's about it. What is this thing, and why is it zero bid? This is down 62%, and it doesn't even have a bid. Okay, I don't know what the heck that is. But look, we took a reload on Nvidia. This will be the first L. It's a frustrating one because missed, then only get it the 3rd time through. So it trends long enough that it could have been like a really, really good stock, but that kind of is what it is oftentimes, but you do what you can. The problem is Wells doesn't get back to the volume weighted average price, and Nvidia does. So sometimes the one, like it's stronger, Nvidia, because it's actually getting the VWAP, whereas Wells is resisting the volume weighted average price. That said, suddenly I can at least look at a couple of points here under VWAP for a trend line. So if we can start respecting this is a bit wishy-washy. So if we can start to really respect this trend line, I can add without it getting to the volume-weighted average price there. Bitcoin's doing its own thing. And silver. Silver did hold over the volume-weighted average price. This was kind of the confirmation candle. And then it opened up, and so it opens. This is the break of that body. It just immediately went about 50 pennies. I did not chase it, but I'm going to just buy that back into VWAP as silver, I feel like, is headed back to another all-time high. Market is definitely turning around here. Nvidia just pressed VWAP as I showed you. Tesla is well above it. as we speak. Bitcoin continues its rally. My goodness, there have not been any dips in BTC, but if this breaks trend, I'm probably going to short BMNR. And you have distinct trend line. That breaks. I just paid for locates on BMNR. I will short BMNR if we get that trend break. And I see people saying, oh, be patient, CRML moving, and SNDK rejecting 400. How's it even up there?
The market is battling back, boy.
How is the market this bad in the morning and SNDK still up 2%? Stock can't lose, man. I'm so glad I'm not short this. Imagine I'd made this when we said we were allowed to short stocks for our picks, I'm so glad I didn't actually pick SNDK.
That would have been bad, eh?
Like you're already out like what, $80? $70? Oh no, we did the close.
Yeah, I think that was a timing
I know
one,
we did
right?
the close,
Like,
so it's not that bad because we would have picked the closing price. No, but these stocks are going nuts. I'm assuming Micron's probably strong. The memory names have been absolutely flying. That's nothing new. It's just like you getting out of hand. This is like the Oracle situation. If there's even a slight miss on earnings for these guys, it's game over. Like you're gonna get destroyed if there's any. It's just a small miss on earnings, I think. We'll see. Hasn't happened yet.
No. So I'm going to go, I just went back into the futures, so I want to hear about what's going on with Netflix, but all right, so we have now went short on, what's wrong with my mouse over here? Short on VWAP. Just, I'm feeling the short today. I don't know. I mean, until we break above there, I'm going to try to stay short. Get a little bit more into there. It's been a relatively flat day, to be honest with you. We took the bath in Palantir. That's it. Intel is a good trade, but we cleared a lot of that out, man. Like honestly, we only have 15% or so left of Intel. I am going to reload this, but it's going to have to be at 50, and then I'm going to use 60 as an out. So that's what's happening right now for Intel. If that eventually comes through, that'll be good. We're holding on to a small piece of Palantir right here, not doing too much. Yeah, my out of Intel just confirmed 48.61s. So if we could break above that, then we're going to get out of Intel if that is what winds up happening. Palantir's at 179, so it's we've been trying to go short right here. So that break, well, that's 179.30. I don't even really want to average into this one. It's been a really strong stock on the rebound. It was really, look, I think we identified it pretty good early when it was weak right there to pick on this stock. But for some reason, as it goes, it goes. So it's going the other way right now for me, Palantir, trying to hold some of those highs. All right, let's look somewhere else, man. What about SMR? What about
AMD's there's a buy program on AMD right now.
What? That's a...
Yeah.
Go to Neil's chart. That's a good candle there.
And I'm saying a buy program because the way I see it, if it's obvious, then I can speculate because clearly there is a buy program on AMD. I don't know specifically why AMD. Yeah, I don't know why it's going to be AMD, but it is what it is. Well, we're already through yesterday's high. When you see that kind of buying, my first thought is you can't to chase it when it's already gone. $7-8 makes no sense. So I always want to find a resistance spot, and the second it looks like it's doing something different, then play the reversion. So 225 is a level somewhere up there. I'm going to probably look for a reversion on this. Kind of like I was looking for a reversion on IBIT and BMNR. Same thing. I did get into silver off of VWAP, but my goodness, AMD. If anyone's aware of a story as to what's going on here specifically for AMD, I've heard nothing.
I think it's just a rebound in the market, and because Intel's going back to the upside a little bit here.
Yeah, but compared to this,
yeah,
this just seems a little different.
Yeah,
you know?
AMD kind of does this.
Let's check it.
But yeah, I mean, if Adara has news, if there's news, there's news.
No, but
right
look
now.
at Nvidia. What the? Like I got stopped out of Nvidia. Nvidia's exactly where it was 10 minutes ago when I got stopped out. I might short Nvidia off of VWAP again.
Here comes the hot stepper. What's up, Adara?
There is an AMD specific catalyst, but I think it's like one of those headlines that's more for the other company than AMD, something called TCS, which I looked, it's not even publicly traded as far as I can tell, just announced a strategic collaboration with AMD. But again, this is very much likely the way the press release is worded. It's likely more to benefit TCS than AMD.
Nope.
Back to you.
I meant to because Broadcom and Marvell are getting pranked.
Broadcom is getting.
What's the story with Broadcom, Adara?
They have VMware. VMware is one of the companies that was implicated in that Chinese crackdown into cybersecurity.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Right. Okay, so yeah, not a good name there.
Because Broadcom's even a big piece of hack, right?
Yeah, I mean, any kind of an ETF like that does have. Oh, hack ETF? Yeah, that's a cyber. Well, CIBR is
That's the-
a cybersecurity.
I feel like that's the better one.
We're starting to rock a little bit here. The market has made a move down. We did average back into, not back into, we just got more short. We talked about trying to get this. It's just bouncing around here. My stop is going to be the high of the day, so we are about 1-to-1 right now. We put another bid here at 98. We grab that. I'm going to cancel my 95 bid and put one down here at 91. And then we'll just go. So let's see how low. There it is. How low can we go? Bang, 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 bang. We're green on the day again, all of a sudden. There goes Palantir to the downside again right now as that's starting to crank lower now. All of my positions are, of course, position pending because the way this market is moving, we're getting violent right now, boy. There it is. Yes, sir. We go back to the futures, and there all of a sudden, P&L number one. Thank you so much for the TQQs as that goes southbound right now. Let's see if we can get down to 53.60 would be a nice little move for me there. I'm going to bid some 78s and 79s, bid some 25s, some 75s, and watch out here as the Nasdaq going southbound. Man, I was asked early, bearish or bullish. We did say bearish, but we didn't get that tariff news. So that's leaning on the market right now. People, I think, were sort of geared up for that. We did see a nice move down at 10 o'clock and then bounce back, and now we resume regularly scheduled programming right now. There it is. Thank you, Palantir. So we had to dance with the devil here a little bit, and we did, and it's working out for us right now. So PLTR, nice downside play here as we go a dollar club hunting on Palantir.
Nice, and it's been all working out all morning long. And if you're watching, like Tesla just broke back down. The only thing that didn't pop lower are Bitcoin and BMNR and silver's making a bounce here. We're going to go to Adara. But the second I saw that on AMD, I was like, why the heck would I short AMD if Nvidia is back at VWAP while that move is happening? That doesn't even make any sense. So if it's weak, then just go back to the one that you liked anyways as that heads lower. We're going to go back to Adara, but silver just, it's bouncing off VWAP. That was a new entry. This is not the trend break trade, so if it loses VWAP, I'm out. If it was a trend break trade, I'd be covering somewhere in here, but no. I missed the trend break. We're playing this off the volume-weighted average price in silver. Let's go back to Adara at the desk.
I actually looked here into this situation with regards to the hack ETF, like what do they actually hold, and also Cypher. So here, or sorry, Cyber, CIBR. So Cyber and hack, Broadcom's not in their top 10 holdings in terms of share size in either one. So it's in both, but it is in no way like a major component of either.
I'm pretty sure those ETFs don't have a single name over 15%. Like they're very, I think they're pretty diversified. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure the last time I looked, they were relatively well diversified, which it really depends on how you want to play it. I prefer in the cybersecurity just to have the big boys. So I don't like the ETF. I'd rather just own CrowdStrike and PanW and be like, boom, that's it. And then just try to have the best. But diversification isn't always bad.
We didn't get too diversified today. We just hit shorts. And we kind of are diversified, though. We got an EV name here, which is an absolute, like, #1 stunner there, man. Rivian, we liking that stock. Now $2 in the money on Palantir. Our TQQ trade, I mean, come on, this is the one right now that's kicking for me. Huge trade, absolutely monstrous trade. I can't say that enough. All the way down into the bottom there for the TQQs. I mean, sure, it's working out, but we brought all of these to you. Intel, Palantir just broke through the 50-period moving average. I think this is probably, I'm going to put something out here. I basically have to. As we've been getting covered out on it, I mean, I wish we still had the whole position. We still have, though, 40% of this trade as it goes to the downside. It's the futures, it's Intel, it's Palantir, it's Rivian, and they're all just doing what they do best, man. That is go lower here today. So, yeah, but let's not get too cocky. Let's start to cover a little bit more here. The Nasdaq's starting to go back up to the upside. Look, we've already nailed it. Pay yourself always if you can. So we'll punch out a little bit more Palantir. We'll punch out a little bit more Intel right here as Intel's at $48. So I'm not sure this one wants to be that weak considering what the market's doing. Intel probably should have been weaker than this right now. So I am a little disappointed in the action that we're getting right now on Intel, but we have to be happy with everything else. Let's put a bid at 22. Let's put a bid at 16s. There it goes. We get them all. And now we'll wait to see what's going on in the general market, Neil. And I do want to throw it back to you, but before I do that, we haven't really, I know Adara has been coming with some coverage here today on everything, but it's not a nice market. Okay, like energy, fine. If you're into energy, we've talked about the advantages of some of the global action here happening now for energy with Iran and whatnot. I've been trying to pump the tires of Valero every single day since Maduro was captured there. So Valero has been, or taken hostage, I don't know what you call that. But anyways, that... Arrested? Yeah, arrested. Yeah, okay, yeah, arrested. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
There was legitimate
claims against
warrant out for him and claims against him.
Yeah, that's a good word. That's perfect. I like that word. But there's Oracle. Adara's got that as her short. That's printing today. Down 3.5% is Oracle. Netflix getting hit. We've talked about that story. Meta just can't get off the ground either. And we did have some look at Mag 7 stocks, and we had talked about how their weakness has become a little apparent when you're looking at the market. Because look, all the green action is on this side. The industrials, non-energy names, health services, energy is right there. Consumer non-durables as Procter & Gamble gets bumped up higher today. Philip Morris, Altria, Lulu down. Target, we'll see I don't know what the retail side of things are doing today, but yeah, man, market going boom to the downside right now. And retail's a funny one because they're the ones most affected potentially by the tariff talk. So, all right, we did get out of Intel. I'm going to load a little bit more at 50, and then we're using 60 as our out. So we could have taken a little more profit than we did, but yeah, so far so good. Nice rebound in Palantir as well. So we only have 35% left of Palantir though.
Yeah, and as we get back into the low of the day, looks like Bitcoin even made a little bit of a curl.
Okay.
I said if we broke trend on Bitcoin, I was going to take BMNR, so I am in. But just to show you, that's not even the right trend line, but there was the trend line break. So there's my entry on a similar trend line break in BMNR. Just with a little bit more space to make a bigger move back into the volume-weighted average price if we get there. But same rules. Going to give it to this prior bar high. Like if we break out, just realize it might be off by a couple cents. So I'm going to replace that stop because it's actually above 34. If we break this prior bar high, then we're out. And just keep it simple. Like stick to the same kind of plan. SLV did come out. It does not hold on to VWAP, unfortunately. So we lose the volume-weighted average price. Wasn't going to give it to the trend break. Forget about that. Like we're playing off the volume-weighted average price there. Nvidia continues to work to the downside. We had to get back into this one because it tried to run VWAP. But then shout out to everyone in the chat that mentioned, hey, have a look at AMD. And AMD was doing this, and Nvidia was doing nothing. So to me, when it's like AMD pops $7 on a break of VWAP and Nvidia won't go, then short Nvidia, not AMD. So I'm going to continue the VWAP short here until proven otherwise on Nvidia. And then Wells Fargo, we're right back at this. It just never really came back in to retest on the trend. So the first short still in it, but haven't really found what I think is a good reload spot. The banks are bad, but they're not. It gets down 5%, but these were so strong. Like, we're not really in any kind of panic territory yet.
No.
Like, I'd think on Wells, maybe you're looking somewhere in the 200-period moving average range, or just give it the 3-day rule. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think we'll be rushing in to buy the dips on these. Let me just double check JPM here. What's JP Morgan doing? Yeah, down 1%, so a little follow through with JP Morgan as well, as that's broken the 50. I think you're waiting for the 200-period on these bad boys. Or as I said, just allow it to settle down. Maybe you make some kind of a double bottom somewhere. And that's what it could be all about. They weren't terrible numbers here. It just doesn't really matter. The market sentiment is what it is. But so far, so far today, it's been some whipsaw action. But this volume is definitely giving you great opportunities today. Like it's been relatively clean. Like all the setups, you were able to hold your winners kind of deal, and just try to keep those stops tight. Like BMNR, like the key thing about this, like I'll take that trend break. You take the L, but if you get one that works, then you make way more than what you lose on any of them. And that's why I like to try to keep it to where's the reason I'm getting in, telegraph it, where is my out going to be, and then if you get your stop run, it is what it is. If you get the move, great. Like Wells worked, it happened to. But either way, like I'm risking 10, 15 cents on that, and now we get to be able to chill out. Sometimes that's how it's going to be. Other times, you're just going to have to jump out of the trade when it no longer sets up for you. And that's where the discipline comes in. Like we were asked about earlier in the day, like what the hardest part of day trading is. It's because it's constantly changing. And you're adapting your plans of action every single day to a market with the same rules, but always different results, right? So just focus on that process, and that's what will get you consistently green, right? So hopefully you have like one trade that can kind of be that big winner for you, but just make sure you're limiting your losses, right? So don't have that roller coaster effect. I mean, roller coasters are fun, don't get me wrong. I just rather, when you're trading, be on a gentle ride to the upside.
Yes, that is for sure. And gentle ride to the upside is not happening right here because the bulls are in aggressively right now into Intel. So we did try that reload there. What's wrong with my mouse today? We did try that reload here at 48.60, got broken out. We talked about 48.61 as our out, so there it goes to the upside. And now we got to wait for this thing to settle down, man. I mean, it got going real early. So I was wondering about that that top wick right there at 9:30. If you're going to play onto a fade, maybe we can start something at 49, but we're getting up there right now, and we have covered a lot of our trades, man. I mean, Palantir, we just took some more at 77, watching out for that trade to come through. And I'm just waiting for something to hit. And I want to trade the banks, but they're just at lows. I kind of want to play almost a rebound here in the market. Like, I know I'm still short the TQQs, which essentially would be shorting the Nasdaq, obviously, but I'm as long as we're under view up, I'm fine with that. But these banks look like they could get a little bouncy action here, but there's no good news coming. Wells Fargo down 6%. Okay, let's scrap that whole thought. Maybe there is nothing going on right now. But the question is, you guys tell me in the chat, are we actually going to short Intel right here at $49? What is going on with Nvidia? Because I want to do it. Okay, Nvidia might be better. Nvidia's at VWAP. What the heck, man? I don't know. Like, these are these optical mice here, but they're not acting well here today. 182.50. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I need to get a new one potentially. But Nvidia is a good short. Intel, I don't know if Nvidia is a good short or not, but Intel just sort of wick topped 49. Would like to see some increase in volume right there. You said AMD was going sort of parabolic, and it was the last time we looked at it. So similarly there, had a top of 224 again. So there could be some plays kicking around right here, right now in the space. So we could go small on Intel here and give it to that 49.20 area. Come on. Okay.
I think the bottom of my mouse is actually.
I was because we've had so many like different particles flying around everywhere here that but if it's optical,
you just reminded me to clean mine. But no, it is optical. It should be better than that. But Adam again
Let me see if I can
with that. Okay, so Adam, I know you were talking about NG already. $200 million deal with the Saudis. That was the reason why you were looking at it. Okay, so this one's going to be.
Please.
NG is on it's supposed to be on the OTC. I shouldn't say pink sheets because it's now the OTC markets, Northern Graphite. So that was the reason why it's up 30%. It's a penny stock, so it's good that it has a catalyst and it is breaking out. Volume obviously not going to be enough to even remotely trade, even if it were allowed to trade it here at Real Trading. We don't have access to this penny stock because it's too low volume and it's underneath that dollar. We'll go up to Adara. It's time for Sector Watch as the market catches another bid. Maybe? We'll see.
Let's take a look at these sectors. Most of them are very weak. So let's start with what isn't. Energy minerals, very strong again. Ongoing geopolitical tensions. We've also seen a push into some of these other safe haven plays, like sometimes, geopolitically sensitive plays rather, like silver today. I want to talk as well about commercial services doing quite well. Health services being led by UNH up 1.5%. Communications sharply to the upside. And industrial services doing quite well too. Let's talk about what's weak. Producer manufacturing to the downside. Consumer services quite weak across the board. Non-energy minerals generally pretty red. Retail trade to the downside. Finance on day 2 of 3 days of major bank earnings not faring particularly well, with Citigroup, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo, all 3 of the names that reported, all big red today so far. And tech and electronic technology and tech services can't really save the market either. Broadcom and Nvidia to the downside, though Intel relatively strong. Tech services side of things, weakness in Oracle down 3.5%, AppLovin down a staggering almost 9%, and Netflix, even as it announces a potentially going all cash here with its Warner Brothers bid, market still doesn't like it. That being said, you have IBM up 0.5% and Accenture up almost 5% today. So all hope is not necessarily lost in the tech space. Back to you.
Definitely not, but it's just you're really picking and choosing here, and good shout out on that AMD is an unbelievable move. So I'm starting in real time. I'm going to walk you through a process that I'm literally thinking about right now. We talk about adapting in trading. So I almost always, when you have a trend break, try to short somewhere in this candle, in this range, and then I give it to the prior bar. But when I get wicked out like this, my first thought is, I always say you have to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. So I should be willing to get in half, put a wider stop, or maybe 2/3, that could be right. Just not get in everything is what I'm thinking about. And then just do the wider stop if it's this tight. So if I have this little room from the prior bar to the high, just give it to the high for a few less shares. And then if it does this wick top, then try to get into the full position somewhere in here on the way down. So I get a little confirmation. At that point, I'd have a double top, so it's a little better, and I should get all in anyways. And then I don't get wicked out like this, because there's a difference between a call and a trade, right? Like, it's easy, like, you can make a call saying, I think the reversion, if it breaks this trend line, I think it's going to go to VWAP, right? But a trade is, I think it's going to do that before it does something else bad, in my opinion. So I think maybe just getting in half or something like that will make some sense. But it is what it is. Like, it was a tight stop anyways. What I am going to do here, though, is I'm going to end this trade in Wells, as we did bounce off the 88 once. It's either breaks this trend line or gets down into 88. That's a level from the daily chart.
Oh, boy.
We'll end the first one off of this one at 88. Yeah, this one will end up carrying it for me today. I mean, it is what it is. Like, nothing's within 10% of this one winning trade. So, but, you know,
I just
always try to get better. And shout out to you, Glass Half Full. We'll get to that super chat as well. And Christopher Mulligan, I know we missed this one.
Yeah, let's get to all that. I am sure as hell glad, sorry about my language, that we got right back into. I mean, I was saying, what do we do with Intel? What do we do with Intel? What do we do? Money. Great minds think alike. I just ran into Obi. His number one trade today is Rivian. I might just cover it, though. We just broke through 1740. Let's just cover that at 17. That's a monster play for me on Intel. So, all right, Rivian, 1742. It's a big day. We're having a big day today. The Nasdaq is now 70 cents. That's near the bottoms. That's a big trade there. Palantir is now 2 and a bit here as we just stick short, man. We've been very confident in this trade, but didn't have any idea how low these things would go. But there's Palantir into 176. We screwed up early, that's for sure. Palantir, we won't even be positive on Palantir, but Intel, the Nasdaq, and Rivian, that's what we're doing today. So far so good, as Rivian new lows just made 1720. We'll sit there and bid. My bid is at 17 flat. Hopefully that can come in, man. The Nasdaq, nowhere to go but lower in my opinion here. Trying to break through now. It is pretty much blue skies on the short now, as you're just trying to take out some of these levels. So there goes the TQQ, and even on a longer time frame right here, we'll go over to eSignal, grab a 30-minute chart now. I mean, this is what we're looking like. So we actually are pretty proud to have that top right there. And there it is. And this is what I mean. Like, you're just coming into these areas. If we could tick below it, then the next area of concern is like 52, 50, 53. So we do have some downside pressure here on the overall market. The Nasdaq is pretty ugly, man. It's down 1.3%. It's definitely not holding bids right now for sure. Wow, Palantir. Maybe we eventually do get green on this name. This is absolutely making those moves in. I'll bid some 71s. Okay, take me out. There it goes, man. Down into the 70s now goes Palantir. So good little trade right there. And yeah, okay, we are now, what is moving? The net is absolutely freaking rocking right now. Nice move to the downside. $3 on Palantir, 60 cents on Intel, 60 cents on Rivian, 85 cents there on the TQQs. We're back, baby. And this is what we're doing right there. So far, so good as we continue to go. And here is a great, I just saw this. I said that we're going to do this more of this. I started doing it yesterday. There it is. Neil, oh, you're doing incredible too. I didn't see the two part. Thank you, Adam DeLuz there. Thank you so much, man. Everybody here making money today. So that's always a positive sentiment around these places. 48.40, we're kicking it. Yeah, good.
From Glass Half Full. Trading alone sucks. It does. That's why we're here. That's why we started in the first place. Trading with you guys makes it entertaining and supportive. Even if I don't always, I can't read the rest when you do that. Don't always trade what you trade. When I do, it's even more exciting. Thanks, guys. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's been a great start to the month. Well, I shouldn't say month. It's literally
like halfway now, but
it's not the start. We're literally halfway through the month, but it has been a good start to the year. And I think as long as you stick to your plan, that matters. Baby Hands says misery loves company. you know what the good thing about trading it is? You share the upsides and the downsides, and you learn the perspective of everybody. You have to be able to get that perspective and make sure that it is your own. I know we missed a couple of super chats, but there was one or two in there, and it's really difficult to always find them. It was Shopify. I have not looked at Shop. Shop is dying with a super chat. That's what it was. It popped up a couple times, and we didn't look at it. Thank you very much, Andre, for throwing it up there. Look, everything is dying. Well, I shouldn't say everything. The market is absolutely dying. Shop down 7%. I couldn't tell you specifically why, but my guess is if you're retail and we were expecting some kind of a decision on the tariffs, maybe a no decision sucks, right? Like, maybe that's speculation, but this was dropping anyways. This stock is not looking very healthy if we close down at 155 bucks. So,
holy
good
shit.
Canadian company, not looking as good as it was before.
We are, wow, we are now at 2 times our goal for the day. Like, we were getting crushed right there. Not crushed, but we were not having the day that we thought we were going to have. And now we are having a fantastic one. So stick with your guts, man. There it is, $1 right now on Intel. Thank you so much, Adam. I saw your note. I couldn't put it in the chat here because I couldn't put it on the board. I could just show it here. I told you, Sean, follow your gut and experience. Great trading today. Thank you so much, Adam, man. I mean, it's really nice when you're short and the market is absolute. I might throw up all over myself. You know, Palantir is now $4. So there it goes, man. Palantir is doing the damn thing right now. Let's put another bid on its head, down into the low of the day on Palantir. Wow, that's probably what's bleeding right now. I mean, obviously, put on these glasses, man, so I can see a little more clearly over here. What is this TQQ price? $52.93. Okay, now we are really cruising, man. We've got a bunch of handles now on this name. This is basically an absolute destruction right now. Great short there at VWAP. It prints down to the lows, man. We are now just starting to go, man. We're starting to go. So there it goes, man. We're starting to level up our game right now. Rivian, 75 cents in the money, getting a little bit lower as well. Join us in just 10 minutes. You'll see Sharif. You will see Obi. And you will have a great time with our midday madness there. Sharif and Obi kicking it out very, very soon. I don't know. I don't want to say they won't have trades like this because they'll have lots of trades on board, but Palantir right now is $4, Intel's $1. We are now $7 in the money on these 4 positions. Neil's got the short there in WFC, and we're printing all over the damn place right now. Intel making lows of the move. It's just been a really, really great morning. We want to thank you so much. Yeah, Juan Padilla, you right, my guy, right over there. We are printing, and this is what we're doing today. The market is tired all of this, and there it goes now to the downside. So boom goes a dynamite. Nice move here on Intel. So nicely traded today, and I think there's been a lot of great opportunities. So let's go. Oh, there it is. We printing. You already put that up, so thank you. We'll clear that one. We are printing today, Mr. Juan Padilla. But let's go over to Adara, figure out what's going on with Money Talks, then we'll be back and figure out what we get to indulge our caterer, and we'll see if they've indulged us with a good piece of fish today.
Well, we already have dessert. We have dessert handle because we got the Krispy Kreme.
We better not have any more sweets.
Shout out! Thank you so much for this.
And Target is green. Are you kidding me right now, Chris Arthur? That's exactly the thing, man. We are loving that Target trade, and we can look at that when we get back. So let's go over to Adara right now.
The US dollar is still in this kind of area where it's resisting that 99.2 on the daily chart. I don't really want to say a bull flag, but again, 4 touches now of that 99.2, 99.25 area that we're unable to break out of. So we have to wait and see what happens. If we do break out of this level again, we're going to be clearing resistance from December 9th of 2025. So it'll be interesting to see if we can break out of this ledge. Let's talk about some of the economic data we had today. So again, this is PPI, not from December, but from October and November. So it's interesting, year over year prints were overall much higher, so much hotter than the month over month prints. Producer price index here year over year for October, 2.8%, November 3%, above estimates of 2.7% for both. Then we've got core PPI year over year, October 2.9%, November 3%, versus estimates here of 2.6% for each month. That being said, month over month, PPI was a little bit cooler or in line with expectations, with core PPI month over month for November actually at 0% versus 0.2% expected. Let's talk here about the CME Fed Watch tool, which is still giving us a whole lot of nothing. And by nothing, I mean we are expecting absolutely nothing when it comes to a rate cut in January. Just exactly 2 weeks from today, on January 28th of 2026, only 5% chance here of a rate cut being priced in right now. 95% of participants expecting rates to be held in place. We're going to have to wait and see. As I mentioned earlier, we're getting a lot of Fed talk throughout the day. So if anything kind of tilts that, or we're getting the indications in either direction, I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
If I had anything, it's like I was just saying, like this, if I had any other strategies working, man, this would be a crazy, crazy year. Like Palantir, like these shorts right here are absolutely kicking. Like I don't know what's going on in silver. We didn't have a look on silver yet. Right now it's holding, so that's actually holding right now. But everything is just getting lower. I'm starting to put in some of these stops. I was actually looking to think about the TQQs and where we wanted to get stopped out of that one as well, because that's a pretty violent move right now to the downside. I'm going to get going to the gym. I just saw Sharif come in here right now, and he was talking about how warm it still is in here. And
well, we're still having issues.
We are trying our best.
We're still having issues with the HVAC or whatever. They came in to fix it today. It is, it's obviously not working, but we are breaking. I said silver is holding up. I might have lied because it was at VWAP a second ago. Now it's breaking. This is the third point on the trend line, so this is going to be a trend break on silver. I like the long, and we did try it off VWAP, got a small bounce, and now we're going to get a break in the other direction. Wells is at VWAP for it's like the third time today. That's why I've reloaded that one, but it is silver that I'm going to end up going in the other direction, unfortunately. So it kind of is what it is. I can want the market to go up. I can want silver to go up and prefer the long, but trend break's a trend break, and that's an entry I like, so we're going to jump in the short instead as the market continues to bleed. And then Wells Fargo, I'll just quickly show. I've been in it all morning, but this is the first time it's actually come back into the volume-weighted average price to retest. I think the best we got was about it got all the way down to 88, but my best exit was about 88.5 or so off of that 90-30 short, but now we're into the VWAP short. So this is kind of like a secondary trade here off of the volume-weighted average price.
All right, there it is, man. You are welcome right there, Wayne Griffin. Thanks, Sean, for the heads up on that. Nice. Palantir. Yeah, $5,000. Congratulations on that trade, man. Ain't nobody doing those kind of numbers here. That was a big trade right there. Like, I'm not taking that much risk on Palantir, but that was a great one. So thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, Palantir just continues to bleed down. And if, Wayne, if you are looking for something, I think you're getting close to stopping out of this maybe right there. So just be careful with Palantir because it just got into the lows. So if you've already made the profit, that's great. But if you're holding on to something, maybe it does have a little bit of a move back up. So just watch out. I was going to use one. So that's what I was doing. So I'm cleaning up right now with only 5 minutes left. I just canceled my Palantir. 176. We'll just get out of 100% of everything if that does kick, right? So yeah, that's fine. So we'll put 100% out on that one. Intel, nice move back up right there. We literally got these lows again, so we're pretty happy with that. A take of 48. Let's go to 48.30 or so. We'll put a stop on that name. And again, our initial stop was 20 cents. So the fact that we're making $1.20, we'll take that time over time. 48.41 stop out there. As we go, Intel, Palantir, Rivian, we don't have too many shares left. And the TQQs, like I said, that was a pretty good trade there. 53.50 should be our out there, as I got to cancel, my other stop. Rivian is still what it is. Here we go, hold on a second. 53.51. We'll stop out of that because we won't be here. No point in sitting in these positions for a minute. But we do have something to talk about right now because it's getting on in time. Yeah, Sharif, here we go. All right, it is what is for lunch. So I'm just going to load this up. Yesterday's was, the chicken paella was okay. Today we do have an American flag I just saw, so that can mean a couple things. We saw it the other day where there was that California chicken. That was pretty good. Yeah, it was, it was decent. Thinking about what else, it could be. We've never had hamburgers. Like I'm thinking, like, what's American roast beef?
Well, we've had hamburgers, just not from the new caterer.
Yeah, exactly. Ever since we started doing this whole what day? What else could be American? We already had fried chicken. There's some burger talk. I think could be American. I just said a roasted turkey. Macaroni and cheese would be a good one. Let me look over and tell you.
I would love to have mac and cheese from these.
What's on schedule today?
Mac and cheese. Bro.
It's a fish. Today. It is oven-baked salmon. So we are good to go on that one. So there we go, man. Oven-baked salmon, not farm, well, maybe farm fresh, who knows. Oven-baked salmon, roasted zucchini, one of my favorites. I love some good zucchini, that is for sure, with bell peppers. It's okay, I'm more of a zucchini guy. Brown rice, mixed green salad. That is exactly what is for lunch. Baked salmon, zucchini, peppers, salad, and a little bit of rice. That's what's for lunch. So that should be good. Obi's on the other side today, so I'm used to him sitting right beside me, but he's going to be with Sharif momentarily on the midday show, where he's going to be talking all about Rivian. He's going to be talking probably about the missed Intel trade, and that's about it right now. So, yeah, it's a good day, man. We'll finish the day 2 times. It's a good one. Baked salmon should be good. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with salmon as long as you don't. Salmon's really just about how you cook it, how you prepare it. So I don't think it'll be bad as long as it's not toppy. I think that's a good sign because that means we're not getting sloppy this week. They're not doing fish twice in a week. And I've just knocked on wood.
No, they won't.
I don't think they would. They usually haven't. But look, AMD, someone just said in the chat, AMD would have been a good short. You're right, but I was waiting for $225 and it just turned a little bit sooner than we would have liked. And then the other question was, is it too late to short it? I personally, when it's this much of a heavy downtrend, I wouldn't be shorting it unless it confirms under VWAP. That's what I would like to see. So like I said, I went back to the well, pun intended, to the volume weighted average price. SLV just bounced off VWAP, so it did make a trend break, but then it broke prior bar, so I'm going to be out of that one. Actually, the silver will end up being my worst stock, and it was because of the short. But you know, we're able to do 5x on Wells versus silver, and I shouldn't say that's what you're trying to do at the end of the day, right? Like if something works well, you just want it to be better by a wide margin versus the things that don't, like that kind of a thing. Also, we have not talked at all, or at least not much, about Tesla, as you can see. The little story this morning was just, we were talking about, you know, everybody's going to be going to the monthly model for FSD. That is the plan of action. Tesla did also go program buy, like AMD did. But the reversion was even crazier to the downside. I'm not going to count how many red candles that is in a row, but yuck. Tesla is firmly still within the penalty box. It's another failure of the 50 period. I think at least for now, we've got to consider that Tesla, as I said, it's going to be in that penalty box, joining some of its other Mag 7 brethren.
I found
Apple, notably.
pretty funny here.
Meta.
I can't call it up, but
Yeah, okay, it was right here. I meant to show it on the screen, but it's right here. It's like, I love how Sean announces the lunch like it's a huge trade when it's good. You are right, man. We are very, very excited to get that coming through here one more time. But yeah, man, the market is a funny thing, and it looks like it's going to get even funnier for us right now because it's trying to make some new lows. We did not, of course, we talked about this obviously on the show, we did not get any information today as far as...
Well, we technically did.
Well, I guess we gave it...
decision.
Yeah, that's true.
No decision.
True, no decision is a decision.
On the Supreme Court, that is.
Yep, on the Supreme Court. So no decision today on that, but there is a decision coming at some point. We just don't know when. So yeah, decision, I don't want to say imminent, but when was it supposed to be? Last Thursday, and then it got...
they pushed it back.
So, yeah.
They schedule when they make their decision, so I guess they're just putting it off. And they're going to kick it down the line, and then maybe we'll just keep playing whack-a-mole with this decision. I don't know. Yeah, the way I see it, the next time they announce we're going to get a decision on tariffs, I'm not going to be all that primed for it. If it happens, it happens. But I don't think you want to focus your day around, well, 10 o'clock, we're going to get it. We're actually going to get an action on it. Maybe play it as if you're not going to. Might be a way to go. So maybe watch some of the retailers. They had been flying around. Note Target moving to the upside. Walmart bounced heavily off the lows before the market did. So there could be some strength going into a few of the retailers, just not Shopify. Let's go over to the midday. It is not